is Thursday, July 16th. Welcome to the Gunter City Council regular meeting. It is Thursday, July 16th. It is 6:03 p.m. We are in the Public Safety Building at 105 North 4th Street in Gunter. All notices were properly posted. We do have a quorum with everyone in attendance, and we will open up with our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance.
Don't bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we're just thankful we just celebrated 250 years as a nation, Lord, and we thank you that through your providence and divine will, your hand has been on this country and this people and this nation, Lord. The city of Gunter and the cities around here, the state of Texas, Lord, we're very grateful. Let us not ever not remember all the men and women that sacrificed greatly to under your guidance, Lord, to turn this country into what it is today, Lord. Please continue to give us that guidance, protect those people, Lord, who commit great things and are responsible for many things that continue to move this country forward. We thank you for all those blessings. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, so we're going to open up citizen comments at 6:05. City Council invites citizens to speak. To council topics, we do not respond unless there's a factual statement. If it's an agenda item, the council may. They're not required to, but they may respond. You'll have 3 minutes. You'll step to the podium, state your name and address for the record. And first up is Don Anderson.
Don Anderson, 102 Falls Creek Lane. Jeannie Anderson and myself. Go ahead. Okay. Jeannie Anderson and myself are ceding our time with Brandy Mott.
Deidre, you got that?
I will, hold on.
Brandy Mott, 1300 Sparrowhawk, Gunter, Texas. I would like to give this to Deidre, as this is something I've been working on for all council and even citizens to review if they want to. Is that okay?
Yeah. It goes with my other stack.
Look at her stack.
Add to the stack.
Sorry. Okay.
I'll help you, Deidre. I don't want you to your back.
Okay. Mayor, council members, city staff, and citizens of Gunter. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present the results of my review regarding emergency medical services for the city of Gunter. Over the past several months, I've reviewed hundreds of pages of public records obtained to the city of Gunter, Grayson County, and Allegiance Mobile Health. These records include contracts and interlocal agreements, consultant reports, council meetings, minutes, strategic planning, documents, operational reports, corresponding historical records relating to the development of the EMS service in our community, and the response time data provided through public information. Before I begin, I want to be very clear about the purpose of this presentation. My goal is not to criticize past or present leadership, nor is it to advocate for one EMS provider over another. My objective is simply to present the information contained within the public record, identify what documents demonstrate, identify where questions remain, and encourage an informed discussion about the future of emergency medical services in Gunter. Before discussing response time statistics, I'd also want to acknowledge an important limitation to the data. As a part of the review, I obtained response time reports to call for service records in Grayson County covering Allegiance EMS operations. Those reports reflect the following average response times. In 2024, you're approximately 9 minutes and 58 seconds in response time. In 2025, approximately 12 minutes and 44 seconds. In 2026, through June 17th, approximately 12 minutes and 44 seconds to respond. However, I want to be transparent about what these numbers do and do not tell us. The reports are based on Allegiance EMS units operating within the Grayson County dispatch system, not solely within the city of Gunter. The calls for service records show that the same ambulance was routinely dispatched to neighboring jurisdictions, including Tioga, Dorchester, Howell, Pottsboro, Whitesboro, and other areas in addition to Gunter. Because of that, I cannot state with certainty that these averages averages represent Gunter's actual response times. Likewise, if the allegiance units assigned to Gunter were committed to a call in another jurisdiction and another EMS agency responded into Gunter, those responses may not be reflected in these stats. Without complete CAD data showing every dispatched agency, every mutual aid response, unit availability, and unit hour utilization, it is difficult to isolate a true Gunter-only average response time. For that reason, I present these figures as a system-wide allegiance response metrics, not definitive performance or measurements for the City of Gunter. My intent is simply to ensure that the discussions remain grounded in the available public records while recognizing the limitations of those records. I believe that the transparency is important. If the data supports a conclusion, we should acknowledge it. If the data has limitations, we should acknowledge those as well. One of the recurring themes throughout the documents I reviewed is that it appears the city's long-term intent was to use portions of proceeds from the sale of the city's water and sewer system to help establish a municipal EMS service. The records further reflect the discussion that approximately $500,000 from those proceeds would be available for EMS and could be matched within the city's budget to support implementation of subsequent actions, including retaining an EMS consultant, developing an EMS strategic plan, engaging an ambulance manufacturer, and communicating a letter of intent to Grayson County as a consistent with the broader planning effort. The document shows that this vision extended well beyond the discussion. The city retained Chief Daniel Kistner to develop an EMS strategic plan, publicly announced the initiative, began working with Frazier to design ambulance, develop operational plans, identified equipment needs, and communicated its intent to Grayson County to establish a municipal EMS service. As a part of this review, I also examined the costs associated with launching the EMS system. The planning document and vendor proposals demonstrate that purchasing and outfitted a new ambulance represents a significant capital investment. Since that time, the city has purchased 2 ambulances, representing a substantial investment of taxpayer dollars. Those assets are now part of the city's public safety infrastructure and should be considered carefully as decisions are made regarding the future of EMS in Gunter. Like many long-term municipal projects, the city original EMS vision encountered significant challenges, changes to city leadership, the BNSF negotiations, the transition back to mayor-council form of government, and ultimately the resignation of an entire council interrupted the original implementation time. As a result, the city entered into an interlocal agreement to ensure emergency medical services continued without interruption. Today, we have an opportunity to evaluate where we go from here. After reviewing the contract's historical planning documents and operational records, I believe there is another option that deserves thoughtful consideration. After reviewing the contract's, rather than viewing this as an all in or nothing decision, either continuing exactly as we are or immediately transition to a fully city-operated EMS system, I believe the city should evaluate a phased approach. One possible option would be to continue utilizing the third-party EMS provider, whether this remains Allegiance or another qualified provider selected through a competitive process, while simultaneously placing one city-owned ambulance into service during historically high call volume periods. This would allow the city to begin building operational experiences, evaluating staffing models, and measure performance while maintaining continuity with the services of the residents. At the same time, based on the information I reviewed, I do not believe the city is currently in position to assume full responsibility for EMS services. Operating a municipal EMS system requires much more than owning an ambulance. It requires career staffing, supervisor professionals, personal, medical direction, quality assurance, continuing education, equipment maintenance, scheduling, regulatory compliance, and sustainable long-term funding. Our volunteer firefighters provide an extraordinary service to this community, and their dedication deserves the appreciation and respect. However, a full-time municipal EMS system would likely require additional career firefighters and EMS personnel, along with the additional certifications, licensing requirements, supervisory oversight, and administrative infrastructure necessary to safely and effectively operate such a system. Those operational and financial considerations should be carefully evaluated before the city assumes complete responsibility for emergency medical services. One of the most important lessons I've learned during this review is that long-term strategic plans do not simply end because elected officials or staff members change. If ever-changing council composition resulted in abandoning previously adopted strategic initiatives, communities which struggle to complete infrastructure projects, public safety improvements, or long-range planning efforts. Continuity of the government allows each council to evaluate prior work, build upon it where appropriate, and make informed decisions that serve the community long-term. The report I'm presenting this evening, Deetra, is intended to provide the foundation that documents the historical planning process, summarizes the contract governing EMS services, identifies records produced throughout municipal public information requests, highlights areas where additional information may be beneficial, and provide an objective review of how the city's EMS vision has evolved over time. My hope is that tonight's discussion is not viewed as choosing one provider or another, but rather as an opportunity not to determine how we best protect the investments already made, onto the long-term planning and that has occurred over the past several years, and develop an EMS system that is physically responsible, operationally sustainable, and capable of providing the highest level of emergency medical care for the citizens of Gunter. I might recommend that maybe we have a citizens advisory board to guide you guys on these services. I know that some of you have expertise in law, in EMS, firefighting. All those things are assets to us. And I think if you have a non-voting advisory board that can kind of guide you, because I know your plates are full, I think it may be beneficial to making an educated decision on bringing this in-house or out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brandy. Chris Donahoe, you're up next.
Sure. Christopher Donahoe, 213 East College Street. I just wanted to address the council tonight over the budget planning for 2027. I think that we don't really have a lot of time to revisit all of the details from last year about how poorly that process was, but I think it was confused. It resulted in a bloated budget, and it resulted in a tax hike on the Gunter citizens that I think we can avoid this year. My request to the council would be that you develop a balanced budget with the no new revenue rate in mind. The budget that was passed and the subsequent tax rate increase from last year, it resulted in a couple of things. We have a new member of the council, I think directly related to that tax hike. We also have a city manager that was voted in as a part of that whole process as well. That citizens want more transparency. They want better executive management, more disciplined fiscal oversight. I understand going to department heads and asking for what they want and what they plan for in the coming year, and hopes and dreams. And I don't mean that facetiously. I think that's a part of any budget cycle, is that you go to your department heads, and in my own business, I'll come up with a dream list, and that's all escalated up to an executive that balances that budget and prioritizes the line items and pushes that back down to the department heads. That's a normal budget cycle process that I hope that we can accomplish this year and come out with a no new revenue rate, so that we start to see that tax rate come back down, which was hiked last year for really not a lot of reason. Like I said, we elected a city manager to accomplish this, and I hope that we can move forward toward that goal. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mark Merrill, you're up next.
Mark Merrill, 71 Mile Court, Gunter, Mayor, Council. I have a couple things about tonight's agenda that I'd like to discuss. In your consent agenda, there's meeting minutes that I have not been able to review because it took so long to download the 1,200 plus pages. But I've already asked Deetra and the mayor to review the meeting. I'd have to go back and look at the actual agenda from the meeting, but there was a vote taken that was controversial from the standpoint of one of the council members stating that there was not a quorum present to take that vote or to make that vote, and that the quorum level was not reached. But my understanding in research that I've done, if a motion is made and a second is granted and a vote is taken, a member abstaining and a member voting no is outweighed by 2 members voting yes, and that motion passed. I want to clarify that and make sure that that is correctly noted in the meeting minutes. In addition, there's an agenda item tonight for limiting public comment on agenda items. Section 551.007 of the Local Government Code of the State of Texas says that any item on the agenda can be addressed by any person that attends the meeting, and it cannot be limited by subject matter other than it has to stay on that subject. You can limit the amount of time, but you cannot say that somebody cannot speak to that agenda item. So if you have an individual who comes and you have 50 agenda items, they can sign up to speak to every agenda item as long as they stay on subject. But that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Gallagher, I've got you on the list.
Michael Gallagher, 1621 Carston Ridge, Gunter. I was pretty ugly the last time I was here. You're not getting an apology for me. If you plan to rule me, I will speak under the First Amendment. I tried talking to you before you went into the executive meeting, and you gave me a low, gruff, good luck. I don't know what that was for. Was that good luck for me to win lotto? I don't know. I don't care. You just drive 5 minutes up the road and see all of the friggin' building that's coming this way. We're a tiny city that's going to be either bypassed or will turn into a nice little town for people if we act now. Stop dragging our feet on every little thing. Everybody hates this woman. It's your prerogative to hate her. But let her do a job. You got a job, you got a job. Just do your jobs. I could care less. I'm retired, I want to play in my yard. But now I feel like I have to get more and more involved because what I see isn't a straight path. We keep on stepping off because I don't like him, I don't like her. And that's all I got to say. It's disgusting. And the chicken keyboard commandos, please come to a meeting and talk here. Show me you have a pair. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who didn't get a chance to sign up for citizen comments who would like to speak?
Yeah, sorry, it's just doing some work.
It's okay.
Good evening, Vanessa Unger, 1921 Bledsoe Road. I'm actually read a letter from another citizen, however, who couldn't make it tonight, but I very strongly agree with what she wrote. So, as a member of this community, it is very disheartening to see what I believe is a reoccurring pattern of Mayor Southern adjourning council meetings while council members still have comments to make or citizen business they wish to address. In my view, this is disrespectful to both the council members and to the citizens who elected them to serve. I ask to consider creating an ordinance if it's possible to prevent this from happening. First and foremost, I believe this is unprofessional and reflects poorly on our community. Simply because the mayor holds the gavel does not mean the mayor should use that authority to prevent council members from fully participating in the meeting or completing the city business. I'm going to skip past the city gunner's mission statement because you guys should know what that is. In my opinion, the conduct I have observed does not reflect that mission. Instead, it gives the impression that collaboration and the participation of elected council members are not valued when they differ from the mayor's position. I urge each member of the city council to insist that every elected official be treated with respect and afforded the opportunity to fulfill the duties entrusted to them by the voters. And I do mean that. I mean that for the mayor, and I mean that for everyone on this, and I do believe this person believes that as well. The citizens of Gunter elected every council member to represent their interests, and each deserves the opportunity to speak, ask questions, and participate in conducting the city's business before a meeting is adjourned. Respect for the city's council is respect for the citizens who elected its members. Our community is best served when meetings are conducted fairly, professionally, and in a manner that reflects both the letter and the spirit of Gunter's mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else who would like to speak before I close citizen comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm closing at 6:23. We'll move on to our next item on the agenda. Actually, I do have a question real quick on that note. I think it was going to come up later, but David Berman is equity partner at Nichols Jackson. He's standing in tonight because we extended Courtney until we can meet with attorneys next week to interview. So he's filling in for her because she's on vacation in Colorado. So I do have a question. She brought up a good point with me adjourning the meetings. As presiding officer, can you just explain, in the absence of rules in our ordinance, we haven't adopted Robert's rules or anything like that, but in absence of those rules, who adjourns the meeting? Do I have to take a vote for everything before we act?
Some cities will look for a motion, second and vote to adjourn, but the common practice is when the agenda is completed, mayor simply announces an adjournment. And of course, any council member, whether Robert's Rules of Order are followed or not, there really is some concept of protocol. And so typically, if the council member disagrees with an action of the mayor on a matter of procedure, then the proper solution would be to call a point of error, kind of like making an objection in court. If the mayor disagrees with the point of error, then you say, I make a motion that we do not adjourn the meeting. The mayor should then look for a second and then call for a vote if there is a second. And so that the council as a whole can overrule a matter of procedure or rule it on a matter of procedure from the presiding officer, and that's generally how it's done. Otherwise, it's just a free-for-all.
Sure. So I have a question. If it's properly posted on the agenda that we're going to executive session and we've given the exception under TOMA and then the topic, do we have to take a vote to go to executive session?
No, of course not. It's on the agenda.
Okay, so I read it, we go in, adjourn, we convene into executive session.
We have an executive session on this evening's
We do
agenda.
tonight. Yes.
When we reach that executive session, then the proper procedure would be to read the agenda, to read the council into executive session. You state the date and the time, and then we all convene, or the council convenes in closed session.
Okay.
No motion is required. to
No
do
motion
that.
required.
I've never seen anybody do that before, actually.
Me either. So if I convene into executive session, but nobody goes, what happens?
You're not going to have a meeting unless you have a quorum present.
Right?
So if you've got a quorum present, you can conduct a meeting, whether it's closed session or open session.
Okay.
If you
What
have less
happens
than a quorum
to the
present,
agenda item?
if you have less than a quorum present, then you will not have that part of the meeting.
Okay.
And the agenda item is either, it's not addressed at all. So if the council doesn't want to conduct an executive session,
What's on the agenda just disappears.
it's either,
It's not addressed.
it's not going to be addressed, so it can come back on the next agenda or never go.
Okay.
Can that be addressed in like a city council meeting, all of a sudden turn into a city hall meeting or a workshop meeting? If it was on the agenda for executive session and it didn't
It's on the
happen?
agenda as an executive session. The problem here is that there are a couple of things that you would have an executive session for that really should be properly talked about in closed session. And in fact, if the act allows you to conduct an executive session, there are reasons why.
Mhm.
The item on tonight's agenda deals with personnel. So if the protection of the individual is the subject of that issue, it is advisable to conduct the executive session. Now, of course, under the Open Meetings Act, that individual has the authority to compel a public
Right.
hearing. And so if he asks for a public hearing, you won't be conducting an executive session.
Right.
But that right to call a public hearing is personal to the employee. So if you can have an executive session, and it is something that should generally be maintained on a relatively confidential basis, and most personal matters are, it's advisable to do the executive session, unless the employee insists that it be open.
Yes, but I guess my question is if we are trying to have a quorum meeting, but we don't, and it turns into a workshop meeting, and there was something on the agenda that was an executive session, is that allowed to be talked about in this now new said workshop meeting
There really isn't a difference between a workshop meeting and a regular meeting. But a workshop really, by necessary implication, simply means that formal action won't be taken as a result of that discussion. But frankly, in the meeting, there's no distinction between a workshop and a regular meeting, or special meeting. If there's a quorum present and you have a discussion, you're allowed to do that if it's on some posted agenda.
Mhm.
That makes
So
sense?
then if it was an agenda item to be an executive session held
Yes.
and no meeting took place, then we can't talk about that in the workshop meeting or anything outside of it, town hall meetings. It's now a dead
No, it's not that
conversation
it's a dead issue. I mean, you can still
for that
have.
time.
But looking at this evening's agenda, it deals with a personnel matter specifically to convene under 074 to evaluate employment evaluation, reassignment, et cetera, et cetera. You can conduct an open meeting on a matter, or a workshop for that matter, on an item that might otherwise be subject to a closed meeting. You understand? I mean, whether you call it a workshop or a regular meeting doesn't make any difference.
So if it's on the agenda as an executive session item,
And if the council moves to conduct that executive session in open session, then you'll conduct it in open session.
does it need to have a vote, a quorum vote to do that?
Well, it's on the agenda as an executive session. If the mayor calls an executive session, then a point of order would be made by an objecting council member to conduct it in open session. And then if it's not agreed to by the mayor, the motion is seconded, and you'll have a vote, and the majority of the council is in favor of, then you'll do it in open session. However, someone may need to put the brakes on it at some point or another, especially if it's something that deals with personnel, because you're talking about matters, issues that are confidential, that really aren't subject to public disclosure in graphic detail. Same thing with legal advice for the purchase or sale of real estate. You wouldn't want to do that in an open session because there may be some, there may be some liability exposure to the city. You don't want to be talking about confidential matters that deal with an individual, especially an employee, in the general public. It's just not advisable to do that. That makes sense?
It does. I think I need to ask my question more specifically. So if I'm not using today's meeting as an example, I'm using a past meeting as an example. If we didn't have a quorum and the city council meeting did not take place and it turns into a workshop, is town hall.
Town hall.
And something on that agenda was an executive session, can it now be brought out in front of the public without
It doesn't matter what was
approval?
talked about before. But if it was not, if it were discussed at a town hall meeting in the past,
Nope.
or if it wasn't discussed at a town hall meeting in the past, so long as there hasn't been affirmative action by the council on that issue, you can put it on any agenda you want.
Yes, but discuss in front of the public.
Sure.
So if you could talk about stuff in executive session that didn't happen because the executive session didn't take place and talk about it out here in the public?
I'm not sure I really understand.
Am I asking the question right?
I think what he's saying is if it was intended to be an executive session, and then a meeting doesn't occur, is it appropriate to discuss it in a town hall when it's a topic that should have been an executive session?
The question really doesn't, the answer doesn't lie in the provisions of the Open Meetings Act. It really lies in common sense and standard procedure. If it were intended to be an executive session, my assumption is that there was a reason why some confidentiality was needed. And like I said before, just because it's confidential doesn't mean that you can't violate the rules of confidentiality and talk about it in an open session. Logically, if it was something that should have been talked about in a closed session, and it's on an agenda to be discussed in closed session in the future, then it should be in a closed session for those confidentiality reasons. Doesn't matter if it was talked about before, whether it was in an open session or not, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that answer? I hope.
Yep.
Director of Parks and Public Services, Adam, did you have anything today?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'll try to make this pretty quick. Parks and Rec, before the July 4th, we mulched the playground. That was quite a bit of mulch. One of the other things is we have couple of the residents pointed it out. We got called by the tree farm. We appreciate all that. We had a bagworm infestation in our cedars, so we had to spray all the cedars. And next week, I think Morgan, at least one of his guys, will have the fun of removing all those bagworms by hand, but they're all sprayed. And the other thing is, in the park, the Sports Association, they're marking a third field for baseball, which is fine. Because it doesn't utilize it. It's not taking the space of anything else. It's in an area that's not irrigated in the open space, which is fine. You can still play other sports on it. If it was irrigated, it'd be different. Just wanted to let y'all know that. Streets. Facebook's been getting a little heat this morning on Autry. So one of the things that happened on Autry real quick was when we first did the project on Autry, I went through and did door hangers in the community. And I don't know what occurred after I talked to council last time. I was going to send an email updating the people. My email folder is gone. I couldn't find the emails. I couldn't find anything to reach back out to those people on Autry, just to let you know. Otherwise, I would have. I changed to the new Outlook. I don't know what I did, but my folder's gone. So there's only one way in and out. So I'm sorry, it's a little inconvenient, but we had to do one half of the street at a time. So we did pour concrete today. And we will start the other half of the street on Monday, this coming Monday. So just FYI. But project is moving along nicely. And the nice thing was there was some ancillary cracks in the concrete adjacent to the main project, and we did those as well to help the residents of that community. Broken Bow is still underway. No really changes in that. It's moving slowly but being done. We are patching 121 and 4th out here. We think we're going to do it for about $5,000. My quotes from contractors range from $16,000 to $22,000, so I think we're doing good on that one. And trash services, we'll talk later. Just an update on July 4th with the chamber, and I am on the chamber as well, by the way. We had about 3,500 people, we think. It was a really good turnout. The police and fire, it was all hands on deck again. It was a great event. Fire and police, public works, they did a great job. Everybody I heard from citizens, we cleared all the citizens out within 20 minutes, which is fantastic. So it was a really popular event. Next year, we're going to focus on tracking exactly maybe some drone shots of how many people are out there, because based on our development schedule, we need to produce a timeline to give y'all to let you know how much longer before that will be at capacity, and you won't be able to, you'll have issues with July 4th being held there. So I think council needs to know that, and that is all I have. And evidently, according to Ellen, I did a good job singing the Star Spangled Banner. So
You did.
Thank you, Adam. Eric, do you have anything new?
No, I just say that Bridges 1B, the public infrastructure has been accepted. So New Country Homes and GOF Homes will be the builders that are in that phase. So they're going to start turning over lots to those builders very soon.
Awesome, thank you. Our consent agenda is item number 4. Consider approval minutes from June 18th, it's only twice, June 30th, July 7th, and July 2nd. The consider approval of the financial report for the city and the MED, police report, fire and rescue, code compliance, and ratification of city manager's contract.
I'd like to make a motion to take G out, and I guess Mr. Merrill was asking about A as well. Take that one out. Have them addressed individually.
Okay, so I have a motion to pull A and G.
I'll second that.
Waiver the second. William with the first. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is that unanimous?
Yes.
We will pull out A and G. Do I have a motion to approve the others?
Make a motion to approve the others.
Okay, half of the first to approve.
I'll second.
Waiver the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Can we get through our public hearings real quick so that our guest, Jason, our bond counsel, our finance, and where are they here? Oh yeah, they are. Do y'all mind if we do this real quick so that they can get on the road?
I have no objections. I'm asking. Head for the rain.
I hate to keep you guys waiting out there. So we have a public hearing. Number 5 is it's to remain open and continue to today. This was to hear testimony on the Platinum Ranch PID. So I'm going to open up public hearing at 6:38. Is there anyone who wants to speak to number 5, item number 5, regarding Platinum Ranch PID district and levying the special assessments? Okay, seeing none, then we will close it at 6:38. And on number 6 is to consider the ordinance, act upon that PID with the special assessments, levying against the properties, all of those things. Luke, are you going to summarize this for us? Remind us?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Luke Ham. I'm with P3 Works as the city's PID administrator. What's in front of you today is the Platinum Ranch Service and Assessment Plan. So this is structurally the same as the preliminary service and assessment plan that came to council about a month ago. But the difference here is these bonds have actually gone to market and priced, and they've been dropped into this plan here. So happy to answer any questions about the service and assessment plan or just the assessment levy process in general.
Yeah, I would just add it's Luke's plans that caused the document to be 1,000-something pages. Just, he didn't have to get it open to enjoy the reading of those assessment plans.
We didn't have to put it in the packet, but it's nice. I think that the citizens, some of them want to read it.
Well, I think it ought to be in the packet, but probably not in the same PDF as everything else.
Any questions?
No, we'll see him here again at the next meeting and the next one and the next one, so.
We're finishing up.
Yeah.
We're about done.
I have some questions.
You need a motion to discuss? Or do we have to?
Well, I actually have a question. How many more of these do we have on the table before we're done with all these bids?
I know the preserve is in the works, so that came, the preliminary service assessment plan came to council about a month ago. So that's the other, I think, and from what I know, I've only one that's coming down the pipeline.
It's 3 total. Platinum, Taylor, and Preserve in the pipeline. There's a pipeline already.
There's more.
And what happens if we don't pass it?
I'm not sure what all the clawback terms are in the development agreement. I know that there are specific clawback terms. I can't speak to what happened to the bonds. I'll let Jason talk about that specifically when he presents the bond ordinance. But
That's next.
yes.
Is he coming next?
Yes.
He will present on the bond
Yeah,
ordinance.
that'll be on the next ordinance, which is about the bonds.
What's this ordinance for if this is not for the bond?
That's for the
It's the assessment plan.
assessment plan and assessment levy.
So the prelim.
Ordinance allowing to levy the special assessments, the financial plans, all of those things. Putting you on the tax roll.
Sorry, it's just a hard time, but I had a lot of things that I wanted on the agenda tonight, and none of them appeared here, and instead I see all of your stuff, and I'm just not really seeing how this is doing much for the city, and the things that I had were things for the city. I don't know where they went, and they got off of the agenda, so I'm inclined to say no on all of these until my stuff gets on the agenda. I
Perfect
had
reason.
several things on the agenda, and I thought we were settled on that, and so I'm gonna make a motion to say no on every one of these.
So we authorized the PID and agreed to this within the development agreement. We followed through for all of the process. This is the end of it. I mean, David, do you have any advice? If we refuse the PID at this point, what happens to us? I would think there'd be a hefty lawsuit.
Well, this whole process would have been preceded with the development agreement.
Correct.
Clawback provisions that were just referenced. Whether it may come into play. I don't know if it's correct to hold us hostage and do something different, but.
David, do you have some advice about how to get my agenda items on, have them stay on? So that the
This is off topic. Luke is up here to answer our questions.
Question to the attorney.
Have yourself or another council member make the request for an agenda.
The request has been made, it was on the agenda, now it's off the agenda.
Ordinarily, most cities will have rules and procedure that will enable council members to request that items be placed on future agendas.
Yes.
And in fact, one of the things that you have the ability to do, even if there is no rule of procedure, And I don't see, yeah, there it is. Item number 29, discuss consideration and act on determining agenda items to be placed in future city. So in the event that you can't get
I
satisfactory
appreciate what you're saying, but
then what you can always do is when we reach the agenda item, you discuss it, make the motion, get a second, and a majority vote, they'll rule the mayor's decision. But I can't speak to what happens in connection with your prior requests. I have no
There are ordinances that we didn't have passed through legal yet. So I didn't put them on. But right now,
Yeah, we're.
Luke's here to answer our questions.
So to answer the question, I'm not sure, because in terms of development, some bad things will happen if we don't pass the ordinance, but you're not compelled to, you just have to be prepared to suffer the consequences.
Well, I'm not gonna hold developers hostage for misdeeds of other people, so I'll make a motion to approve the PID.
Okay, William with the first to approve,
I'll second.
Alan with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Number 7, this is the ordinance that is allowing us to issue and sell the bonds, special assessment bonds, and this is also for Platinum Ranch. Jason?
Oh,
There we go. Okay. I'll figure this out sooner or later. Mayor and Council, Jason Hughes, Senior Managing Director, Hilltop Securities. Good to be with you. Mayor and Council, if it pleases you, I'll address the current item as well as the next one within my summary, and then certainly be happy to answer any questions you may have. You should have a one-page summary that looks like this in front of you. So I'll just go through this starting at the top. Just as a reminder, from a bond security perspective, these bonds are secured by and repayable solely from the assessments levied in Platinum Ranch. Said another way, your citizens that live outside of Platinum Ranch will not pay any debt service on these bonds. Also, there is no ad valorem taxes from the city, any other general city revenues that are pledged to the repayment of these bonds. They again are 100% repaid by the assessments of the future homeowners. The other thing I would point out too is assuming your approval tonight, and once we close these bonds, we will close the proceeds with a third-party trustee. That's important because we don't simply hand the developer a check. The developer has to put the infrastructure, the public infrastructure in the ground. It has to be inspected, conveyed ownership to you, and then it's at that point after they have proven up their cost in which they are reimbursed from these bond proceeds. So again, no simply handing over a check to the developer. As far as the development overview, this is a little over 1,700 acres in total. And there'll be a little over 4,200 lots. And what's planned for build out upon finality is $2.1 billion of value in the city. So we did sell 2 series of bonds, IA or Improvement Area Number 1. This is the area that will be developed the quickest and will have homeowners in it the soonest. And then we also have what's called the MIA or the Major Improvement Area. This will be developed a little bit later. And so as you can see there, what we're asking for your approval tonight, IA1, $50 million worth of bonds. Within that, you have, as we talked about before, a debt service reserve fund. That's there for bondholder security as well as safety to the city in the event of a protracted, large-scale non-payment of assessments. The PID, both of these are meant to be self-sufficient and they're self-containing in the sense that all of the costs associated with it are included in this bond issuance. So again, nothing coming out of the city's general fund or other funds. On the MI side, $11.694 million is what we're asking for your approval. Again, same things, debt service reserve fund, capitalized interest, all the costs paid there. There are 2 main financial items that we look at whenever we're looking at a PID bond issue. One is called the value to lien. In your development agreement, you have a minimum value to lien of 2-to-1. As you can see on the IA1, we are above that at almost 2.2 to 1. And then on the MIA, over 10 times that. So we meet the DA and we exceed it. The other item that we look at is the tax rate analysis. Again, within the development agreement, it is a 309 overlapping tax stack. As you can see there on IA1, we're about 10.5 cents below that. And on the MI, we're certainly well below that with just over a 6.3 cent tax rate equivalent for the MIA. What this ultimately means from what you approved in the SAP last month to now is we're about almost 5.8 cents lower on the TRE
And what that translates into is homeowners will pay anywhere from about $260 to about $365 less than what was projected. And that's by virtue of the rates coming in better than we estimated. So I know I went through a lot of information very quickly. I'd certainly be happy to answer any questions you may have or provide more detail as you would like.
How does all this affect the average homeowner?
So whenever a homeowner moves into Platinum Ranch in this specific PID, they will get a notice that they are subject to an assessment. All of this is known to them leading up to the point in which they're buying a house.
So when they do buy, it is disclosed to them? They do have that
100%. By law, it is disclosed to them, yes, sir.
Because I know in a lot of instances that I've been familiar with before that they did not disclose. And then all of a sudden they're paying so much more. And then it came back as a retaliatory deal towards the city, talking about you did this to us. And in reality, we're not having anything to do with that. So,
again, Councilman,
isn't that just kind of how it is?
Well, it is. I won't go into each individual occurrence, but what I will say is, per state law, it does have to be known to potential buyers that they are in a public improvement district and subject to an annual assessment.
Yes, sir. And boy, I would recommend heavy emphasis on that.
Yes, sir. And that's why I wanted to, going back to the bond security overview, I always like to go through that, talk about that. This again, the assessments levied within this bid is what goes to pay this debt service.
Yes.
And all the builders that are in the developments know this as well as they're going in, because as they make the agreements with the developers to take down their lots, they know that it's in a bid or not. So there's another element that who's supposed to disclose it for sure too. Just like some people don't understand that they're in an HOA, even though that's disclosed in the too.
It is. People don't understand. Awesome. So I think we're still on number 7, the ordinance for the issuance and the sale of the bonds.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Alan with the first to approve, Pat with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Number 8, this one's the ordinance, as you just discussed, going over the special assessment revenue bonds for Platinum Ranch also, and approving the related agreements.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Alan with the first to approve,
Second.
Pat with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you'll be back in just a second.
Thank you, sir.
We can go over those numbers. Okay, so I'm going to open up the public hearing on the Taylor Ranch PID, Public Improvement District at 651. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close it at 651. We'll move on to item number 10, and that is the ordinance, just like the first one, with the assessments against the property, putting it on the tax roll. Same thing as the other one.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Similar to the one before, this is the service and assessment plan for Taylor Ranch. And so, like before, this is structurally the same as the preliminary service and assessment plan that was approved by council about a month ago. But these bonds have gone to market now and sold, and those numbers have been dropped into this plan. So happy to answer any questions that y'all might have on this item.
I have none.
Can you explain the difference in the tax rates between the two properties?
And the tax rates?
Yes.
So the TRE came in for Platinum Ranch at 0.82, and then for Taylor Ranch we're looking at 0.73, and that's based on the estimated build-out values that were given to us by the developer, and then compared to the assessments levied on the property.
Okay, that would explain the difference. A little bit different developments, a little bit different infrastructure needs, site and stuff too. The more money you spend, the more you save. Yeah.
Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, can I have a first to approve?
Second.
William, was that a second? Okay, all in favor? That's unanimous. Number 11, this is the ordinance approving and authorizing the issuance of the sale of the bonds. So Jason's back up here. These came in under as well, didn't they?
I'm sorry?
These came in under what we got.
They did.
Right?
They did. So, Mayor and Council, exact same format in this summary. So, same thing, the assessments levied within Taylor Ranch are the only security for these bonds. This development is about 491 acres, 649 total lots. Upon build out, about $400 million of combined taxable assessed value to the city. Again, we had an improvement area number 1, also had a major improvement area. As you can see there, IA number 1, what we're asking for your approval tonight, $14,985,000 worth of bonds. Once again, the same exact thing, capitalized interest, debt service reserve fund, all the costs taken care of within that. And then the major improvement area, $2,016,000. So once again, we met our DA well over the 2 times or a 2-to-1 BTL. And then once again, we also met on the tax rate analysis, the overlapping taxes. And what that translates into is anywhere from about $281 to $473 less than what we had projected by virtue of those interest rates coming in lower. So again, I know I went through that very quickly since we had just talked about the one before, so I'd be happy to provide any more details that you would like.
I have just a curiosity question. With the 2.9 for the IA, but then 2.2 for the MIA, why would it be, are we just projecting like a little more conservatively because it's in the future and we don't know?
So Mayor, that's a great question. One of the things, since that's a major improvement area, the infrastructure, or certain infrastructure will go in today. What will happen is at some point the developer will come to you and request bonds for those future improvement areas that are within the MIA. And so whenever they do that and they issue those bonds, then the expectation is it will be close to that IA1 level.
Okay. The value will be more, I guess, is that right? Because of the value of
well,
the
it would be, there would be further public infrastructure in order to come up with an IA2 or an IA3 as the case may be.
That makes sense. So to issue and the sale of the bonds, do I have a motion?
Me, I'll motion.
Okay, bill to approve? Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Bill with the first to approve?
Second.
William with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Number 12, so this is the ordinance for Taylor Ranch, just like the other one with Platinum.
This is the major improvement area, yes,
We
ma'am.
just went over the details, both of them together.
Yes, ma'am.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have the first.
Second.
William with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Jason, Taylor, Luke, everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
Yes, safe
Have a good
travels.
evening.
Thank you.
Watch the rain.
Okay, so let's go back to, we're revisiting A that was pulled from the consent agenda, so let's tackle that one first. Our question is, and David, you're gonna have to help us out with this one. What happened was this was an appointment to P&Z, and there were 4 councilmen that were available to vote. 2 voted yes for the appointment, 2 voted to abstain. Courtney mentioned in absence of adoption of any kind of rules, then you refer to, or she said that it would have passed, that would have been a vote to pass. Because
In the end, what were the votes in favor? How many votes were in favor of?
of the 4 votes, there were 2 for and 2 abstain.
How many votes were against?
None.
The motion passed.
That's what I thought. That's what several citizens are asking.
That's how it works. So abstaining doesn't mean that you're not present at all.
That's what I thought.
Under a literal reading of Robert's rules, sometimes, depending on the condition that you look at, sometimes it says an abstention there's a vote in favor of, with regard to the vote in favor of the mayor's motion, but the general rule of thumb is that if a council member abstains from voting, although he or she is still present for the purposes of determining a quorum, their vote is not a vote at all. If you have votes in favor of and not opposed, then it's 2-0, the motion passes.
So
We don't have Robert's rules of that.
we don't.
I know, so if you ignored Robert's Rules of Order, what you got here is a motion where 2 council members voted in favor of. You have no one voting against. Motion passes. There's no rule that says that you must have at least 3 members voting in favor of for any item to pass on an agenda. There are exceptions that give the supermajority vote, but under these circumstances, the plaintiff and the PC commissioners,
Well,
the majority of those present.
Right. So that was on the July 2nd meeting. Deidre, will you pull the minutes and let's correct them, and then we'll bring them back next time. So just the July 2nd, that's the one that one was on.
So, Mark, does that address all of your questions on that item?
Yes, sir.
And I disagree with council that 2 abstentions moves the quorum. When there's an abstention, you don't have a quorum.
So we're going to update the meeting minutes, so according to our legal counsel.
So then we can, okay. So that means we can take off number 15.
Number
then.
15, because it's already passed and she's been appointed.
Well, we're going to talk about it again anyways, today, right?
So we pulled G, consider approval of ratification of city manager's contract. That contract was executed based on the terms that you guys discussed. I went back and listened to executive session. You did discuss terms. I believe that you've all seen the agreement, so please correct me if I'm wrong that anyone here disagreed with those terms.
I haven't
seen any.
Did you not get it?
No.
It was sent to everyone.
And we don't get it, we don't vote on things by getting copies of it. We have meetings here.
We
to vote on
didn't.
it.
We talked about terms. You could have made any modifications when the item was presented to offer the employment
There
agreement.
was no action by this council to approve that contract. There was no action by this council to offer that contract. There was no action by this council to direct staff to provide that contract.
This contract went to every one of them, did it not? Once it was executed, did it not go to them?
What vote did we
That's
hold
how you got
authorizing
it.
this contract?
That's how you knew.
What vote
to
did we
object.
hold? What vote did we hold authorizing the contract and authorizing the presentation of it to the new city manager?
We held it when we offered the hiring, and
What?
the only limitation was not to exceed $160,000. The contract is almost identical to the other department heads. Anyone at any time could have said, under this condition or
What
this
vote did we
modification.
hold authorizing
We
the
did.
action?
We did. We authorized it.
When?
Last meeting.
No, we did not.
Yes, we did.
I
Okay.
made the motion.
Do the three of you,
I made the motion to
hire
extend the
him.
offer to
Were
him.
you understanding-
And not to exceed
Where in that
It's
word
not
is
in
the
the
contract?
It-
Where in that word is the terms of a contract? Where in that word
we
is the
discussed
contract
terms and
presented
you
to us to
didn't
review?
modify it at the time of the vote, William. You could have said, I want to make a modification to that, but nobody did. So we did exactly the same thing that we did with the other department heads.
Somebody talking about something and,
Well,
and
okay,
getting
I'm just gonna call
authorization to
a
do
point
it
of
are two
order.
different things.
The four of you, is there anybody here that is upset with the execution of that contract?
I don't have any.
Are you good with the terms?
We don't
Was
know
it what
the
you
terms are.
expected? Did
Well,
you expect
there-
us to offer him a contract?
There,
Yes.
what we discussed.
Everybody agrees.
Executive session.
No, everybody does not agree.
Who is in agreement with William?
I don't know if I'm in agreement, but I don't have the copy of the contract in my email box.
I only reason I got the contract was in the PDF that I got from you on Monday.
Wasn't it sent to everyone?
I don't have it in my email box right here, and I'm trying to find it. The last thing I have on,
I'm going to repeat, we don't make decisions in this council by email. We have meetings
So-
and we vote on them. There was no vote.
It was.
There was no vote. And I'm going to also say, ratifying something means somebody did something they weren't supposed to do, and they're coming back and asking
We
for
put it
permission
on here?
after the fact. I'm speaking, please don't interrupt.
We put this on here
I'm not
because of you.
finished. I'm not finished. Ratifying something after the fact means they did something they shouldn't have done, and they're coming back and asking for permission.
Then there's no point in us ratifying it.
That's right. I
Because
move
it's
that
already
we do not
executed.
ratify it until we see it, we understand it, we know what's in it, and then we can decide whether we want to approve that contract and offer it to the city manager or not. It's not a unilateral decision that the staff makes just because somebody suggested that maybe that's something we ought to do, or maybe we talked about it sometime in the past somewhere way back when, at some meeting. It has to have a vote and it has to be authorized.
The contract has been executed. Is there a quorum who wants to redo this contract?
After reading it on Monday, in my approval of the vote to hire the individual, I approved the process. So, when it comes to the nitpicking the contract, I personally have nothing wrong inside of the contract, but that's my personal opinion. But I would have never gotten it had I not came here and gotten the thumb drive.
I thought Cameron sent it out to everybody. He said he was going to, but he sent a summary of
But
it.
it is in the packet, so I don't want anybody to think I didn't stick it in here.
No, it's in the packet.
Yes,
But had I not
yes,
gotten
yeah.
the thumb drive, I would have never seen it prior to today.
Yeah.
Well, Monday when I got it.
But the motion on the table is to not ratify the contract.
Okay, so
Do I have a second?
Which means we keep it as is.
No, it's not authorized.
You have an executed contract.
You
Do I have a quorum who wants to unexecute the contract
That's what I'm saying. We already
of
have.
Mr. Hayden Brodowski?
No, she signed it and Hayden signed it, but this council never authorized it. This council never even saw it.
We agreed to it.
No, we didn't.
We agreed to,
We talked about the terms.
to hire him,
having
yes.
never seen
We
the
also,
written
we
document.
also talked a
Agreeing
lot
to
of-
hire somebody and agreeing to the
But we
terms of
also-
the contract are not the
We
same
also
thing.
detailed a lot of the terms within executive session. And every one of those terms are exactly what I agreed to.
Show me the contract. Put it in a piece of paper in front of
In
me.
the agenda packet.
In the
You had
agenda
it.
packet.
Well, he doesn't have a laptop. If he never had the thumb drive, can we get a copy of the contract?
But whose fault is that?
Why are we not voting on it right now? And then here's the problem, it's already been executed.
It has been executed.
This young man's already resigned, he
That's right.
signed the contract.
That's right.
It's a moot point at this particular point, other than the fact of,
Procedural mistake.
and it is a procedural mistake, and it has to be rectified down the road. So my whole thought process on it is I'm with you guys as far as we've already executed this thing, and we just need to move forward.
And I will agree.
This is
It was all-
important because I didn't just sign this on my own. And I need for the three of you who gave feedback
agree.
to clarify that.
I agree with the terms of the
Correct?
contract.
I
That is
did not do
correct.
this on my own.
No.
You did not do that
Thank
on
you.
your own.
No.
If she hadn't done it on her own, she wouldn't be asking for it to be ratified now.
I'm
That's what
asking for it
ratification is.
to be
ratified.
for Hayden because
Yeah, he's
you
already
called
approved.
him and that was wildly, diabolically
I agree
inappropriate.
to the terms of.
Diabolically inappropriate to call someone and tell them that they don't have the job, that it's not legal. It's not legal.
We're not doing that, that's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
So I make a motion that's embarrassing. Approve the contract as written and executed.
Okay, so Alan with a motion to approve the current existing executed document.
I'll give you an example,
Okay?
okay? My daddy, a long time ago, was hired to be the head football coach at Cooper High School, Cooper ISD. He gets in the car to go to sign his contract because he's been told the job's yours. He gets to Cooper High School and the superintendent of school comes out and meets him in the parking lot and said, "We've decided to go another way." It's like, what do you do? So Daddy took another job in the district and beat their tail. But the bottom line is that if we executed this thing with him and he signed his contract and he has resigned his position, we got to move forward.
Amen.
Yeah,
Deal is a deal.
I don't think, I don't know, I'm not gonna speak for him. My argument is I still wanna hire him.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it.
No,
I found
I
the
don't
only
think
email.
I don't think there's anybody at the table has a problem with him.
Like, I don't know, and nothing against it with the executive sessions we were having about contracts, that's gone up and down. I don't know, does he have a company car in his contract? I haven't seen it. If he does, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I think
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have nothing against, I want to hire him, so it's not that, oh, we want to go back on our word. I just don't see it. All I have is an email from Kramer on the 6th saying we wanted to provide a brief update, city manager process. We were able to present an employee contract to Mr. Brodowski today, and we're pleased to report that he has accepted. Good. I just never seen it, so I don't know the fine-tooth points of it.
In
That's
agreement
all.
on the fact of all 5 of us should have seen that document.
Yes.
And done it, and it was understood or thought that we all received that, correct?
Individually, but respectfully, it was in your agenda packet posted last Thursday, and I sent the email stating that it was 1,264 pages. Come and get a thumb drive or go to the website to see the agenda.
So, and Bill, it's not so much that we should have seen it. We should have approved it. We should have authorized it. We should have directed it. The direction comes from this body, not from the staff coming out and doing what they want.
Sure need a quorum of you guys
and
to
then
speak
coming back and
up.
asking for ratification. It's asking for forgiveness after they've done something they shouldn't have
Nope,
done.
I actually originally refused to sign it.
No, I totally agree that everybody should have seen the document, absolutely, but I want to hire this
It's not
individual.
seen. We should have told them, do it. We should have said, we are authorizing you to enter
did.
into a contract.
But
That was Alan's motion,
no,
to
I
offer, rescind the offer of employment. How do you think I'm supposed to do
William,
that?
yes, I understand where you're coming from, brother. I do. And I think that we definitely need to improve our procedural processes and make sure that they're enforced. Absolutely, I don't disagree with you there. But when I approved, my thought process, when I said I approve of hiring this individual, that's everything. Send it. That was everything that I needed to do as a city council member to make sure this individual gets hired and shows up to work here, happy, ready to go.
Yeah.
That's my thought process, brother. So I definitely agree. In the future, we definitely need to stop this whole.
Asking for forgiveness?
If that's the way you want to look at it, yes. I just think it's a little bit different when it comes down to it. I think in the future we should definitely look at a contract just like we did previously with everybody else that we've hired in the recent past, and make sure that contract correlates in the future. Yes, sir. I don't disagree with that.
We did outline the limitations, and we
We
never
did talk
exceeded
about
them and never went.
And it is almost
nothing-
identical to the others, which we also talked about.
Which we also voted on without having an hours.
It was based on current staff manager.
When it came to me, I refused to sign it.
Okay, is there a
And I
motion?
asked
Because I made a motion to
for
not ratify it, and
Alan
somebody
made a
else
motion
voted to
to
make another
approve.
motion to do something else, so where are we with the votes?
I already made a motion to
Peter
approve.
said Alan to approve, you said
Do
no.
you have a second?
You need a second, I'm a second.
Okay, Alan was the first to approve the existing executed contract. Bill with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, 4-1, that motion passes.
Welcome to work, Kate.
Looking forward to having the city manager here.
Yeah.
Me too.
Agenda item number 13, discuss and to act upon replat of lots 8, 7, 8, and 9, block 34, supplementary addition. Yes.
You drop those here. You want a cart?
Eric, this is,
It's a
no, this is, do you have a quick explanation?
real quick, easy. It's just it's a basic replat of supplementary edition. Currently located here, south old downtown on Walnut Street. Currently, a lot of those lots, as you're all aware, we've had a lot of these kind of replats come in because the lots are so narrow that you can't develop them with anything. So he purchased 2 more lots and he's making it larger, one single lot. It's all a ministerial function. It means there's no engineering to it or anything like that. It's just the ministerial function of a replat.
What is that area zoned for?
It's zoned light industrial right at the moment, but we're trying to make it downtown. So
Yeah.
we're going to try to push for rezoning of all that area sometime soon. He has come in and talked and had a little bit of a pre-development meeting, and I've got to buy off on the concept, but his land use is more of a light industrial. He needs a little warehouse thing for his HVAC company, but he's going to push it to the back so he can maintain the street frontage.
That was going to be my next question. Do you know what is going to be put on
I
that?
didn't know it was going to go on there. He originally couldn't do it because the lot was too narrow. I was hoping, well, just talking to him about the downtown design and whatever, and then somehow he found out about being able to purchase those two lots before I did, for MDD. Yeah, so, but he is amicable to working with us to do this minimal development he needs right now until we get the whole master plan a little bit more.
Okay. So it's not going to be residential, it's going to be business.
It's going to be a little office warehouse, basically.
Basically.
That's the most simplistic way to call it.
And because some of his materials that he's going to be storing in his warehouse, it works fine, or it works out for him to be in an industrial area.
Well, it's a permitted land use in that zoning, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the district development standards are the key that I'm working with him on and trying to negotiate, kind of help with, so that he doesn't just do it like he could right now.
Yeah.
Knowing what we want this area to look like and be like.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just want to double check because there's a typo. It says HPC ready mix under staff analysis. So there's not going to be any concrete there, correct?
No, not except for the driveways and the parking
Okay,
lot.
perfect. All right, just want to make sure.
Now, there's going to be a 45-foot concrete batch plan.
The ABC generator, or HVC generators.
Apologize for that. I'm just making sure. I sometimes have to add things to see if y'all read it.
No, I just want to make sure.
It's going to be the place where you get to bag your own.
That's what I was making sure.
You'll get it cheap out.
It's a generator. He does generators for HVAC units and stuff.
Yeah.
Small business operator.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
And then we have the other, behind them is the other plaza or retail, the Kitchen Kings and everyone in that building. Is that kind of right behind him?
No, Kitchen Kings stuff's right off of Main. I mean, it's the frontage part of it.
Kitchen Kings at 7.
This is more where John Carter has his health row, as we call it.
That's what I'm saying, just behind the property.
There's the plat.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
get back to
you're talking
the.
like right in here, so right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you're south of what you're talking about. This is
Okay.
more down by the elementary school property.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Isn't Kitchen Kings just
Kitchen
right there? And then
Kings
I
fronts right on to
Yeah.
Main Street on 121. This is further down.
Behind
south.
School would behind
Okay.
it.
Well, behind it, but there's land. There's probably in between it.
between them. Okay.
There.
Just want to make sure.
But again, it's just a straight up replat of.
Yeah. Okay.
Make the motion to approve.
Patty first approved, Glenn with a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Number 14, discuss and enact upon proposed consent to the addition of land for the Four Seasons mud that extends into the city of Gunner's ETJ. I think that
And
this is the one that
Yeah,
did engineering
yeah,
here?
Jim Knight is here with KFM. And I think that might be somewhat miswritten. It's really not that it's going to go to the ETJ. They're actually taking the mud into our ETJ. And Jim has an exhibit, can explain
Yes.
what we're talking about.
I'll set this here so everybody can see it. So
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Mayor, council members, Mr. Hamby, good to
How
see
you
you.
doing, bud? Good to see you again.
It's been a couple of years.
Been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Go ahead and state your name.
I'm Jim Knight with KFM Engineering and Design. We represent the landowner who owns this property and has held it for approximately 20 years. The state of Texas created a mud on this property in 2007. The area that's shaded in the upper right-hand corner is the area that's in your ETJ, is in Grayson County. All the rest of the property is in Denton County and part of Pilot Point's ETJ. In January 21st of last year, 2025, Grayson County approved an authorization to take that portion of Denton, of Grayson County and put it in the mud. That's all we're asking to do tonight, is to get an authorization from the council to put it within the mud. Nothing else is changing. We're not asking them to do anything else. If for some reason, I know the city attorney can probably respond to this, if we would just like a resolution to allow us to move forward with this, if the council decides not to do that, there's a process we go through with the PUC, and it gives the city roughly 90 days to say, if you can provide us water and wastewater for the site, then We cannot do that, otherwise it goes through the process. It's very procedural, that's all it is. I will say this. We enjoy working with your staff at City of Gunter. We really do. We've had really good feedback from them. They've been very helpful. When the time comes, which is not now, but down the road, we would like to have potential discussions with you about how much of this property ultimately becomes part of the City of Gunter. It's well too early in that process, way in advance, but we enjoy our working with your staff now, and we hope to have that discussion down the road. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Does everybody understand where this is located?
That's what I'm asking right now.
So, Jim, go up to the exhibit way and show them where the North Dallas Toll extension is.
This is, here's Marilee Road. There's the county line right now. So your Platinum Ranch right here is over here. And I can't really speak to that, except I'm the engineer for that too. But this is where the Grayson County Tollway extension begins right now, and this is where the DMT stops. The Legacy Hills project is right down here.
So that's Mustang Creek that's running through there right now?
Yes.
Well, it says Mustang Creek on the map.
It is part of Mustang Creek. It all flows downhill and goes downstream.
So, I mean, the key thing is want to have a decent relationship with the landowners that are surrounding us so that, in the future, they don't just say, forget it, we're staying in the county, because you'll notice an extensive amount of blue on that. That's commercial property.
All the brown and blue is all commercial. All of this area is potential commercial property.
Then that's in Collin County.
So that's right now all in Denton County.
Collin County is on the other
This is the Grayson County piece that we're bringing into the mud.
And then Denton County, and then Collin County is on the other side. That's
South Marilee.
Yeah, Salina. Okay.
It'll be a few years before we do anything. There's nothing in it. So
How many homes?
we don't know.
You hadn't even looked at
No,
that?
it's way far in advance.
It's right in line with all of the commercial corridor.
Coming up.
And what's the up or down to letting that little corner come in?
All we're doing is bringing it part of the mud. The mud's already been created. It just allows us to manage it and put everything together at one time. Water, wastewater, roadways, everything else in a consistent way.
Well, I'm sorry, maybe rephrase the question. I understand what's good for the mud developer. I'm asking what's the up or down for the city and the country.
I'm not sure that there's not a negative for the city, but it's already in the city's ETJ. So there's no up or down. It's in your ETJ now. What we want to do is put it within the mud so we can manage the project. What it does allow us to do is if Gunter wants this project to be part of them, allows us to open the door to have negotiations to bring the entirety of the property into the city if you'd like.
Or
if you don't, we don't have to.
Or they could do like we've had, and people can just petition to get out of the ETJ, and then you completely lose any class.
We're actually getting the discussion this time instead of just getting the petition.
And that's why we form relationships with our engineers that we work with that have a lot of these
The
northern
mud was
properties.
created 19 years ago. The county, 18 months ago, said, yes, it's okay. They consented by resolution to allow it to come in the mud. That's all we're doing, just go through the paperwork.
So you're there, you're not going anywhere. Got it.
One thing I would like to point out, your resolution is positive and negative. In the agenda, it's actually the Four Seasons Ranch mud, not the Four Seasons mud, so.
I have a question, Jim. You
Yes,
may or may
ma'am.
not know this because you're engineering, but as far as the mud tax, do you know how much of that's going towards emergency services?
It's
so preliminary.
Since we don't have
Like for the
density,
other ports,
we don't
the other
have
part.
density or
You don't have
anything
anything
else.
yet,
There's
okay.
nothing been
You
done
just
yet.
bought the property and have a mud on it.
The land, this landowner has owned this since 2006, I believe, and they want to do something with it, but we're not in a great real estate market, and they're trying to get everything prepared. I wouldn't be surprised in the next few years something starts happening, but nothing else is going to happen.
So preliminary, okay.
They're getting ready, Texas and New Mexico power lines getting ready to go right to the middle of property, so
That's right.
we don't know how that's going to affect us either.
I'm teasing you, but can I get an elementary school?
I'd be surprised if that didn't.
Just to restate, since we've had a pretty decent conversation, what is it that you're exactly asking for again in this?
We would like a resolution from the city council to approve the annexation of the Grayson County portion of this property to the Four Seasons Ranch mud.
That's in Denton County.
That's in Denton County.
Yeah, so the mud currently doesn't have that little piece up in the corner. It's carved out. It's only in Denton County. They own the property, but it's not part of the mud. They want to expand that little corner in, so it's all part of one mud, but they need Grayson County's permission to do it. And before they get Grayson County's permission to do it, they need the city's gunner's permission to do it. Grayson County took the gun and gave them permission before they asked the city of Gunter. So now they're coming back after the fact, cleaning up.
That's actually just the other way. We have to go to the county, because we're not changing anything with Gunter. All we had to do is go to the county to get the county's approval to do that. That's what we've done. And now we're coming to the city, just asking for good. This PUC has a process. If the city of Gunter does not want this to happen, that's no problem. You can say we deny it. It goes to the PUC, and I believe it's roughly 90 or 120 days. The city then has the ability to say this is how we provide water and waste, because the mud is for water and wastewater. It says if the city can provide the way to provide water and wastewater for this property, then the petition is denied. If not, then it gets granted.
Right. So really, it's just.
It'd be pretty hard for us to do that since we don't have sewer water.
Exactly. We can't do it anyway. There's no point in trying to delay them because.
Do with that, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Pat with the first, Will with the second, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Thank you.
unanimous. Thank you.
Good to see you, bro. Good you, bro. Tell, Buddy Monet when you see him next time I'm on, slap a knot on his head.
And I understand what you go through. My father was a city manager his entire career, so I feel for you. Y'all get through it.
Just have a civil engineer and pick it up.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to number 16, discuss regarding master fee schedule.
Yeah, I don't have anything right now. We're still
Yeah.
working and fleshing that out. Then we'll get, when we get a city attorney hired, we'll.
No action.
Get it.
No action. We'll bring it back. Number 17, discuss consider act upon processes relating to speed limit reductions in residential neighborhoods. Adam, do you have anything to update us on this one?
Yes. All right, council. So we pulled some reports. If you remember, this started with a lady came in. It was about the meadows, and those are private streets. So just a little bit of a recap. So in the 3 years I've been here, you've had 3 people come forward that said their neighborhoods were speeding. So it's not, I'm just saying from a staff standpoint, it's not a prevalent complaint. The traffic studies we did, I would say right now definitively, you do not have a speed issue in the meadows. We ran this the last week. There were 4 violators, which means 5 people went over 5 miles over 31, where the 85th percentile speed was 23 miles an hour. So the meadows, honestly, you don't have a speed issue. The woods is a little bit higher. I would say the woods, y'all have a little more freedom of movement in the woods, so y'all are a little higher, much more than the meadows. So you have 399 violators of 5 miles an hour over. But the 85th percentile is still 31 miles per hour. From a staff standpoint, this is my suggestion to this council. If you want to look at this in the future, I think personally, if somebody from any subdivision, like the Bridges or the Woods or the Meadows, is interested in this, the route through the way most cities do this is through petition from that particular development. And so I feel like my recommendation from a staff standpoint, I've talked to police, would be that those people get together a petition, council establishes a certain amount percentage, such as maybe a 2/3 majority of people that want to change their speeds. Other than that, I would say the speed stands and don't do something globally because everybody's different. That is just my recommendation. So.
How do you get to 85%?
That's what the flock camera system provides the data for. The 85th percentile speed rate refers to the maximum speed. 85% of drivers will not exceed on a given road, even if there were no speed limit signs, stop signs, or traffic signs. So it takes that shot in all the different neighborhoods. I guess it's almost like the equivalent of growth, but it's 85 percentile. And like I said, it based on and you're welcome to these reports if you want a copy of these reports. It just shows that the Meadows is pretty low.
Do the flock cameras have radar in it?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And just one more thing. I'd already thought about this, and I talked to Lieutenant Wilbanks. When you do the flock cameras, understand if you really wanted a pure speed test, you would have to do black boxes, because the flock cameras, when people see the things, they tend to slow down, but it measures that pre-speed versus when they slow down. It catches them from a little distance. But the only way to truly get an accurate thing would be if people didn't know they were being monitored. Just to let you know. But based on the data we see, I don't think you have what I'd call a speeding problem. The most open roads are in the woods, and therefore those are the ones. And strangely enough, the times we know, I just noticed, just if anybody's interested, it's like very early in the AM of the morning and very late at night, like post 11 o'clock at night, about 2 to 3 in the morning. So somebody's moving a little quicker at those times. Anyway, that was.
We
didn't do they did the bridges, but evidently the cameras, they were down a camera and the data gets wiped, change it, so I didn't catch the data on the bridges. But based on the Meadows, I'm thinking the bridges is going to come up very close. Somebody you know.
Yeah.
So that's the council. Oh, I saw that. If council wants to adopt a policy, that's up to y'all.
So do you think on the Meadows, do you think, since you said it's not a speed issue, do you think it's because the roads are narrower, so it looks
the roads are
potentially
narrow.
worse?
When two cars park, what is it? Is that a 22 foot?
Yeah.
It's a 22-foot road. So if you got two cars, they're traffic calming really quick.
Well, I know, but let's say there's no cars out there, just a car on that skinnier of a road probably looks like it's going faster than it does there in the woods.
And the Meadows is the one behind the woods, right?
Yes.
So it's the one that the lady came and talked and asked us to lower the speed limit.
Yes.
Because I drove the roads in the Meadows. They don't have sidewalks.
Right.
People are in the street. I can see why they didn't want that speed limit.
And it looks like they're going faster because there's a parked car or it's just narrow.
Well, it's also, as the concern that was brought up at the time, is that there's a lot less reaction time for the driver should a child chase a basketball
come out there
into the street.
That's the same on every street with actual.
We also talked
two
about
back to back and stuff. The same issue with kid darting out.
Yeah.
We also talked about this being an HOA issue.
Yeah.
So we can't do anything.
Especially in the Meadows because they're private roads.
So is it possible to put a survey out to the rest of the residents in the Meadows and ask them if they want the speed limit reduced, or do what? I mean, when the county does this, they do a public hearing, and everybody that's interested comes and talks about it. So
that is up to y'all. Like I said,
he's just coming back with the fact that technically there was not really speed found, but
that's why I suggested a petition. If the people wanted to do it, they could bring it. You would have to set the parameters as council. That's several cases I read. That was what cities normally respond to as a petition, where the majority of the residents in a subdivision want it.
I'd like to also see on this agenda that we actually talk about the 289 of north of Gunter, going north, to be lowered on the speed limit, but
I think that was text down we talked about.
yeah, I know it is. I'd like to have that be put on there to where we're talking to TxDOT to have them come out here.
For instance, Reed Road and Bounds is in city limits. There's no speed limit posted. When no speed limit is posted, it's 55.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not going 55 on Bounds.
Yeah, no, you
No, I
can't.
know.
You gotta have a tank.
That's why
It has its own traffic calming devices.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why we strategically.
I know, I'm talking 289 coming out of town, how it goes from 45 into 60.
But I need everybody to understand, Tucker frequents that road, so please slow down.
But to stay on topic.
Tucker moves like 2 feet a minute.
Yeah,
Still.
He's quick. Yeah.
But to stay on topic.
We did talk, just to let you know, Eric and myself and staff.
You said it
We
was
did talk with TxDOT.
complicated, but
It's up to them. They're aware of request to lower speed limit. We requested it on 121. That's an ongoing discussion. It's very hard to get TxDOT to lower speed limits.
I know. I still want to try, because if I don't try, then I'm not doing my job as city council here. So I would like to talk to them because we have already those trucks, like we were talking about, the trucks entering in.
Oh, yeah.
They have to sit there and wait, and they are actually helping slow down the traffic coming off the whoop.
Yes.
But once we get BNSF logistics
Yeah,
in and
we
out.
will keep, I think we'll probably continue to talk to tech stuff.
We just had a meeting with them, so I doubt we'll have one again anytime soon, but I can
Why don't you
I
connect
can
them
email
with
Paul and
Noel?
ask them, see if they'll come to
Yeah.
the meeting, but
If they can, and then even have them not have
I
it
don't
be
think it comes to meeting, but I bet he can get you in contact with
Something.
Noel where you can talk to him and
Yeah,
just say, hey, this is
something.
what we want, what do we need
Sure.
to do?
Yeah, and then also have them not have it be a passing lane coming out, because we got people in the woods, you got Forney, you got coming out of you, I've already seen numerous people passing and then someone has to go on into the shoulder. So, yeah, like to see that.
So,
But that wasn't on this agenda, but like I said, I'd like to have that on the agenda. So,
I guess what we need to know is just, if you have an idea of Adam's suggestions on the processes, if you want us to direct people that it's a policy of city council to have a neighborhood
petition
done,
yeah.
then that's what we'll tell them they need to do.
yeah, I'd like to see a petition.
I would too.
Is there
To each individual
Authorize
neighborhood.
staff to put some parameters on it?
Yeah, we would go with, what I've seen out there is a 2/3 majority, which is a clear majority in a neighborhood.
But I'd like to see the petition before we send it out.
Okay.
Please.
Before
The council?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we can do that.
Thank you.
Just because we're talking about it.
Yes, we
doesn't
would like
mean
to
we're
see
saying
it
just
too.
go off and do something.
Thank you.
And never come back and talk to us again.
Other than that,
Okay, perfect. So,
Okay.
do we need to make
No,
a
it's a
motion
discussion.
or? This is just a
Discussion. So you work
discussion.
on it, bring it back to us, we'll put it back on the agenda.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome. I think I've got the next
So,
two
teacher,
items.
can you please make sure this, teacher,
Well, Adam has,
can you please make sure agenda item number 17 makes it on the next?
Or is it when?
well, Adam
Or
just
when-
needs
when
to
you're
bring it
ready.
back
Whatever
because he
happens,
fills out all his stuff.
Yeah.
So bring it back.
But, yep, I
As soon
know.
as
We've
you're
been trying to do the
ready.
right process.
Okay, Pat, I'm sorry,
Can't
we were
pick
trying to
and
figure
choose.
something out.
Yeah,
No,
can you
it's
please
okay.
make sure that the agenda item number 17 makes it to the next city council meeting, please?
Okay.
We should be able to do
If
that.
Thank
Adam is ready.
We should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Might as well.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Deacon.
I'm not going anywhere.
Number 18 is you too.
Yeah.
Next, let's go ahead and talk about demolition of the field house.
So, council had already approved that we could assist with demoing the field house. I did not account for asbestos. And trust me, I tried to get out of doing asbestos on it. But we have a little flow chart. There's no way I could get around it. So the asbestos has to be accounted for. I've talked to two different companies, so the bid would be $1,200 to do the testing for asbestos. If they detect asbestos, it would be based on that square footage. There's a couple variables, but it'll be between $2,000 and $5,000. So what I'm seeking authorization for, if we're taking it down, I not only have to do the testing, but then I have to do the abatement if they find it. So the agenda item is really for council to say, to authorize the funds for the $1,200, and then if they
Find
if
it.
they find it, then I'll move forward with abatement.
How big is the building?
It is
30 by 50?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm not an engineer and I'm not a
Yeah,
construction person.
it's a square foot price,
Snap it,
but
a big tarp and bulldoze the
It
thing
depends
down
on
and
how
do
the asbestos is
but-
located within the building.
That's the biggest problem is we have to clean it to destroy it.
Most of it's gonna be in your tile.
Right.
I don't know if they'll find it. That would be my preference.
You're thinking probably roughly 7,000-ish.
If it has asbestos, if not, it's just $1,200.
$1,200.
Can I make a recommendation, Adam?
Sorry.
Is that if we do end up moving forward and approving the $1,200 to investigate, that we don't do anything until we get a final number on the backside, please? Is that
That's-
possible? Just
That's
because.
fine.
So, I'll make a motion to approve the testing.
I'll second.
Motion with William to approve the testing only, and Alan with a second.
Alan second, yes.
Alan second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
It's unanimous, thank you, Alan. I think
You're
you've
up
got one
again, buddy.
more. So, discuss and consider act upon matters regarding the ADA, as it relates to the park.
So there's a gentleman, I did not listen, I was sitting out there, so I didn't hear all the discussion about, I put a map in there, as far as ADA considerations for the park. And, based on ADA considerations, understand that, I believe the gentleman wanted to watch the fireworks, if I'm not mistaken, was that what I heard? Okay. So, that park does not have to be ADA compliant, and it doesn't because it doesn't have trails. It's roughly a field, and so that doesn't qualify. At the point you put a trail through that park, that changes things. But right now, getting into that park, the bathrooms are located in the perimeter, and your playground was ADA because it was done through a TPWD grant. If this council was interested in pursuing something that allowed an individual with a wheelchair or some type of assisted walking mobility issues to get in, it would probably be the closest point of access would be near the bathrooms to create a concrete trail into the park. But just to let you know, yes, the park doesn't have to be ADA compliant as is, because it's just open grass. And I know this from doing grants before. It's when you build facilities and things in the park, that normally is what triggers ADA. So, if council wants to pursue something like that, I could get some quotes and come back with it. But right now, there's nothing that requires us to have that infrastructure to allow somebody to roll into the park. In this case, I believe he was in a wheelchair. And so there's nothing like that really set up like that right now currently.
Do we have any, I haven't been there in many years because the kids are older now, but do we have handicap parking available?
You really only have handicap parking, honestly, at the school, because you have parking. You can always access parking. You can even park in front of the park, but you can't access the interior part.
That's what I'm saying. Like if like you were saying, if we were to do something and add concrete by the bathroom, that would be probably where we would put handicap parking, and then that would make us ADA.
It would just be to create a pathway to get it a certain distance to the park.
Yeah. In your opinion, can we do better?
Yeah. For disabilities.
Yes, I don't think it'd be that expensive to create it if you're talking about for viewing fireworks. If you're talking about navigating the park itself, no, that is not I would wait until you make major improvements to the park. So yes, we could create a walkway where somebody could park and come in, and I believe the chamber, we could work on the fireworks side because there is parking there. Because obviously you can create access, but if there's no parking, it has to go between the parking and where you're trying to reach in the park.
And that area is currently dirt.
Yes. Yeah, we would have to do some, DG is an acceptable material. It's compliant. But we would have to create a pathway that would to do that.
So that's why I was asking if we put a handicapped in, because it's not just adults for the one-time fireworks show. We got some kids that also, they might need to be in a wheelchair, but then they can play in the park, but to get to it. So I think, Bill, your question is, can we do better?
And in the future plans of that concept plan of the park, you would definitely have to address that. If that park develops more.
If we were to do a path from, say, the parking behind the bathroom, a gravel path, a screening path towards hard, compact dirt, to at least a wheelchair, a wagon, something, stroller even, can get from the parking lot to the playground instead of parking at the school and crossing over, and I think even the crossover has.
The playground would be a little different challenge. It's accessible. There's a walkway to the playground. But the parking issue it's the parking that's the problem. You don't have adjacent.
Well, you also have to take into consideration getting from the park to the bathroom. You have to go on a pretty busy street at times.
Well, yes, I'm saying we could put parking up near the bathroom, create a handicap parking up there, but then to create it to the playground. I don't know when the grant was done. They may have factored in the school parking across the street because there's a crossway right there. Yeah. That might have been what they did.
You brought up a good point. I didn't even think about that. I have to park in the school. I wheel over to the park. Okay, cool. Yay. And then if I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go back out on the street instead of a compacted rock path to the bathroom.
As it stands today, I don't believe our bathrooms would probably qualify for ADA.
That was my question.
I'm pretty sure yes, but I'm just
and that's important. You need to look into that, bud. And get us moving forward. Even if we can't do the whole necessary ADA completely Grandilosi compliance, we need to start moving in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because we love our park and look, you know, the people that all donated to even build that, we want multiple other people to enjoy
The
it.
youth to be able to use it as well as adults.
Yeah, and not have to go back
It's,
down.
I mean, obviously, it's been that way, but
Yes.
as we evolve.
Well, I even remember, and Ms. Cohagen, you are here, I remember a couple of years ago, you even put out there a questionnaire, what would y'all like, a walking trail or something else? So I know that we've, as a council, we've been trying to do something with the park, so.
Yeah, there's a concept plan, but the concept plan would require vague
Well,
regulations.
and if you're talking about the one that you showed us, the three
Yeah.
one, yeah, that one's beautiful, but I mean, just until then, can we, you know, I saw we cleared out the parking lot, looks really good back there. Can we just make a path and throw some screening down there?
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Yes, maybe even reach out to the community who would like to volunteer time to help.
It could be, we could do a build project.
Yeah.
But I will start working on that.
Just not in July or August.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, Adam, I have a question. Improving the park is a great idea. If we improve it, is that going to create an ADA liability that we currently, obligation that we currently don't have now?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Including the bathrooms.
So currently, we are not needing to be ADA compliant because there's nothing to be ADA compliant
No.
for. But if we start building things to try to improve the park, we're going to incur liabilities under the ADA.
That normally triggers it.
That is your can of worms.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Okay. You can't make it better without bringing it up to, fully up to the federal standard.
Well,
You
I'm
can't-
only talking right now, the bathrooms are, I'll look at the bathrooms. But as far as that, I'm only talking about access to the front of the park to create a landing pad area.
For fireworks.
Yes. So basically, they could observe something. It's very specific. And in that, that has more to do with surface and basically incline percentages. That won't be hard to achieve.
So, y'all want to get him to put something together and present for a plan?
To improve the parks?
Look at the
Yes.
bathrooms and see if they are ADA compliant. I mean, right now, the Gunter Library they're remodeling theirs, and they're required, based on their remodeling, to go ahead and bring the bathroom up to ADA compliant.
That's what I'm saying, the whole site.
Is there a sidewalk, to the playground?
Yes.
Yes.
From the parking lot at the old elementary school.
Not the thing.
To the playground?
Yeah. And then maybe even for next year with the fireworks show, if we haven't got this down, maybe we can make a VIP area where they can park at the elementary and then have ramps that can get them up over the curbs into the grass or something.
I'll bring back something to council with all the different areas and start producing some cost. Because like they were saying, I'm not saying the interior of the bathrooms. I'm saying ADA is about access to.
Right.
I don't think you have access to the bathrooms.
So I'll make a motion to have Adam investigate and create some ideas as to how to make that more suitable for individuals for that holiday period.
Second, pass motion.
I have the first reading of the second all in favor.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Number 20, please stay up here and tell us about roles for duties in Parks Recreation Board.
All right, so what I did for council is on the Parks and Recreation Board. So I've been working with Pat, and we're going to try to get it back going, Parks and Rec Board. And really what I was looking for tonight is I want to just, I gave you all the potential duties and responsibilities of the Parks and Recreation Board. I was wanting to hear from y'all which duties you wanted in an ordinance. That's why I laid it out. So what I hear tonight, we'll bring back an ordinance that reflects what y'all are looking for them to do. I also attached the current ordinance so you can see what the current ordinance is. One of the things that's not typical in our Parks and Recreation ordinance is the dedication with the dedication of conveyance of parkland. There's two suitability of land for neighborhood parks and community parks or linear parks. The park board shall be the arbiter of what land is suitable for parkland dedication, subject to final approval by city council. So one of the things would be, do you want them still in the business of determining what is suitable? Understand this, when y'all do DAs, and most things are being done by DAs, that supersedes your park ordinance, obviously. Park ordinance is below that. That's not to say you couldn't involve a board in that, but it doesn't necessarily. And so what I was looking for is just some direction to bring back the ordinance and go ahead and advertise for park board positions. I just want to give a little background. One of the things I think that when I came on board, there was a lot of evidently frustrations, park board, politics. There was a lot of frustrations that they weren't being effectively utilized. I think one of the, and I'm just saying from my personal experience, I've had a big experience in this area, is boards, they tend to be, they attract a lot of times a lot of sports people, a lot of young parents. Those are the people that have the least amount of time usually to attend meetings, by the way. So they tend not to show up at meetings and their focus is very narrow. And I think that's a good representation, but you actually need a broader scope on a park board. You really do. And so, if you decide we're going to move forward on this, I would say keep that in mind. You may even want to choose a chair and not have the board choose the chair the first time around, whereas council could choose the chair and involve that person and maybe staff and bring, when you do interview processing, maybe a subcommittee of council or something like that, however y'all would like to do that. But I was just looking for just general, I laid out a thing of potential duties and responsibilities. You could say all of them, by the way. I think I put down 11 and then engage in the following activities. I would love, personally, I think one of the areas that you should have a board move into is special events. Sort of creating some events that don't have to be really expensive that the board can move into, light judging, start small. Christmas in the park is a low-hanging fruit that we really need to be involved in. The timing is good. Platinum Ranch is coming online, Taylor Track, ETJ. I'm changing the form. So what I've done is I'm creating a form. The current forms we have don't have anything to do really with parks. And so I'm creating a form just for parks and recreation that makes sense. And I've looked at other cities, so it's going to be just typical of what you find in other cities. But right now, our current application looks more like a business form. Like, what's your skills with this and this, and it's not applicable things. So we're just creating a new form, but I'm just looking for any guidance. If I don't get any, I don't have any, council doesn't have anything that they feel against or whatever, I'll take what I passed out to council and create an ordinance with these duties.
If you can, I know there's some councilmen that have not received this yet.
Yeah.
So I know you can't really look at it to communicate on that. But if we could get a copy of that section of your
what you're proposing?
Yeah.
Is that what you're? Yeah.
No, just
was this not the backup?
No, it is, but it was it's PDF thumb drive. This is how it was delivered to
us.
It wasn't emailed out.
Okay.
So what you're talking to
I didn't
wasn't
get a thumb
emailed
drive
out.
at all. So
Yeah.
no, I'm good. I got enough thumb drive at home.
But
Okay.
so there's a few individuals that have not yet seen what you were talking about right now.
But if you're saying what would you like our input on what we're looking for as a park and recs board, I mean,
For what duties you want.
Yeah.
Well, see, like
In
right
the
here, we got
ordinance.
officers' rules, duties.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like the section that he was talking about, he read the highlighted area, and then
Yeah.
here's the potential
Other
duties that the park board would do.
So like what we had last time, I think the last Parks and Recs board did a good job for what they had, and I know some of them even volunteered their own time. I know Alan, you weren't even on Parks and Rec, but yet you're helping put up the sign and the lights.
Yes, but what we're trying to do is trying to reinvigorate that board, so it can be an active member in the future growth of Gunter.
Yes,
which I know a lot of people are passionate about in that. So we would like to reactivate that. And there were some comments of the departing individuals saying they didn't really have much to do. They'd show up and
what are we going to talk about?
Yes. So this actually gives them a little bit of guidance and a little bit more. Hey, these are some ideas of what you could be more involved in.
So would community events be something that would be an appropriate purview for Parks and Rec to look after?
Parks is part of recreation.
Somebody, if he's watching, I apologize because I don't remember his name, but he was telling me that there used to be in Gunter twice a year a community event where everybody got together. There was something during Christmas and something during the summer, and it was like a potluck, big citywide picnic or something. I don't know if anyone remembers that. We've been here long enough for it, but
It was National Night Out is when we would do that.
I think COVID took care of that,
He had to bounce out.
unfortunately.
But, I mean, those kinds of things would be things that the community could do together, be opportunity for people to meet each other, be opportunity to do something with this park that we have, eventually the parks that we will have, because as the Centurion developments come on, there'll be more parks.
Yes.
And we can have events
Yes.
that are scheduled and organized, and not just soccer and baseball, although soccer and baseball is great.
Youth association, just have something else out there.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things I've got that the board could do, and I think the city, we need an identity. It's one of those things I think we struggle with, and events are a big part of what produces that. What I propose is, if I know Councilman Balmy has seen this, I'm comfortable with putting most of these things in here and bringing back an ordinance with these things and letting them move into the special events area. And then what I think would be appropriate is because special events takes time. And so if I was to work on them with special events, then what I think they could do, even if it's during the year, would be to bring back council a proposed budget and say, here's a couple of events we'd like to pull off this year or the following year. But I think it's time. I enjoy Parks and Rec. I really enjoy Port Streets, honestly. And trash. Yeah, but Parks and Rec can be enjoyable, and I just like that area. I hope one day Gunter has a dog park. I hope it's the logical growth, and it's quality of life for the residents.
But the big part of this is what we would like to do is to involve the city council greatly in the recreation of this and be given the guidance to the Parks Board so that they can execute in accordance with our guidance in the beginning.
This is where I was going. We have the NDD, we've got the Gunter Library, we've got the Chamber. Parks and Rec could be the organization that sort of ties it all together and makes it something that's coordinated. It would be really useful to have the Chamber and the library and the MDD is trying to do things to make the town attractive, right? Well, what's that? Parks and Rec would be the ones figuring that out.
Yeah.
Not necessarily MDD. MDD is trying to attract people in, but we need to do something. When do we need a new trail here or a new whatever there?
So are you saying that have our Parks and Rec be more of like the glue between the other three departments?
Yeah.
They can talk to all three of them.
Interesting to live in.
And I will say this too, I think Eric and I work real well together. I've worked already with MDD on stuff. MDD can do whatever EDC 4B can do. And they can move definitely into park areas. I've heard from some of the members, they have some interest in some of the park facilities and things. So I do think it could be a coordinating committee.
Yes.
We would take the old slot, by the way, which would be the fourth Thursday. And one of the things that I am putting, if council's okay with that, I'm putting on the application is this is the day, this is the time. So this is it.
Already established.
Yes. So
you might want to put printouts of the applications there at the park so some of the parents can see it.
Yeah, we might get to think of different names in Parks and Rec, maybe it's Parks and Community, or something that implies it's broader.
If you want a different name, this would be the time to
open to suggestions.
Yeah. And I can bring back the ordinance, and you can tweak the name. You can just tweak the name as it is.
Yes.
Well, I think I've got some. I can work with that to bring back the ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So no action. We'll just let you work on that.
Yes. Thank you, council.
Okay.
21.
But you're going to stay up here because now we're talking trash.
Yes, we're talking trash.
So, and Dieter put discuss. So I guess that we need to really discuss this.
That's probably me then. Is that me? I don't know.
Are you sitting?
Don't look at my staff reports. I put MDD on one of them. I was doing copy paste.
Oh, yeah, it was this one that you did. I did not get
It was on two of them.
Yeah. So
I don't know why you would
Sorry,
get
I
one
missed
word off.
one.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I can't read this. What's the MDD?
So on the trash, I met with Alfords for 2.5 hours this week, where our focus is on doing things for the residents. So we are looking at bringing recycling back weekly. It would be still on the same day on Wednesdays. There will be a cost to this. for weekly, it's still selective. In other words, if we made everybody in the city of Gunter do recycling, it would lower the cost. But because it's going to be selective still, in other words, if someone doesn't want to do it, they don't have to. What I would like to propose to this council is, it sounds like your city manager is coming. I would like to sit down and work through this with him, with Hayden, because there's trash revenues behind this, and trash revenues can offset certain things. What I'm saying is, so to bring back a product that's acceptable, will benefit the residents. We're also creating a roll-off fee for residents that looks a little differently. So basically all the gearing of this trash talks is to provide additional benefits to the residents and to see if there's a way we can keep the cost the same or maybe even less. There's that possibility of. So that's what I would like from council. I'm doing several other fees with trash, but it relates more to commercial and industrial trash. Just things we don't have, like tire disposal. Tires, believe it or not, are like $50. Don't put a tire in one of our things.
Yeah.
It's very don't put tires in our stuff. It's very expensive. So there's some other fees that I'll be bringing back, and that will go into the fee schedule. But for right now, we're focused on those particular three things, and we're also looking at once again something I'd like to talk with the city manager, bring back y'all proposal, do a clean sweep event. And so Offered Services would bring their dumpsters for people to do bulk for free. But one of the things I'm looking for is to turn it into like a special event. It too could coordinate with a Parks Board, Parks Recreation Board, and potentially do a hazardous cleanup where people could bring their stuff from their garages, which is something a lot of small cities, counties, I would reach out to the county too to see, but it is one of those things that we don't really have access to here. Those clean out your garage, bring your paint, bring your toxic chemicals, and so people tend to hold them.
Rechargeable batteries.
It's really across the gamut. It's oil, it's tires. Tires is tricky. I'm just telling you right now, tires are, but rechargeable electronics. So that's something we're looking at doing too with the trash. And I talked to the Alfords about it, even though they'd have just a small piece. But I'll bring it all back to council.
O'Reilly will take your batteries and take your oil.
They will.
Yeah.
O'Reilly's.
But this would be like a one-stop shop, and I think it'd be very popular because I know how people just tend to hold on to substances, for quite a while.
Tires in the back of my property. So I want to reiterate, like you said, the reason we're not forcing everyone to do recyclable is because Alfred is actually holding us to the recyclable. As soon as one can has something in it that's not recyclable and it gets thrown into that truck, it contaminates that whole truck and they can't go recycle it.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Even
if we looked at it to force
it's truly recycling.
Everyone, it's true recycling. If we forced everyone and then someone out there that didn't really want to and didn't, let's say me, I throw in something in there and then it just messes up everyone for that thing.
And it all goes to the regular dump.
Yeah, that's correct.
10% contamination.
Okay.
Almost 80% of our
Yeah.
trucks before we're going there.
Yep. Okay.
I think that's it for me.
Okay. No action?
No, because I'll be bringing that back. I just want to make sure council is good with it, talking to Hayden about
And we'll
this.
get some numbers.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. 4 cans in a row you kicked.
Yeah, I know. Let's not do that again.
Case number 22, discussion for potential appointments for new city attorney firm. We do have a interview day next Wednesday where we will interview all of the firms. Everybody's scheduled, correct?
Yes, you have 6.
Someone pulled out.
So,
Yes.
yes.
That was comical.
6?
They were in
Houston.
Okay.
and they said they only want to do everything remote. They even want the interview to be remote.
That's not going to work for us.
Virtual.
So how is it
So
TV and the internet?
so that I can go ahead and let y'all know who's all in order. So you have 2 that are local. So the ones they'll be interviewing is Taylor Olson, but I think I didn't put full names, they go by Toast. Ryan Henry, Boyle and Lowry, Baker and Robertson, Tidwell, and Brandon Shelby.
So 6.
Yes.
6.
And so William can probably tell, I believe Tidwell and Brandon Shelby are both the 2 insurance.
Who's the last?
Brandon Shelby.
Brandon Shelby?
That's in Sherman
Okay. And then Tidwell.
and Tidwell.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then-
Shelby.
And then the other one is, there's one in Irving, one in Fort Worth.
It was Ryan Henry, Taylor Olson,
Boyle and Lowry.
Boyle.
Did you send that to everybody
Baker
in
and
an
Robertson.
email?
I've
Yeah.
sent to everybody.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but. So we'll
And
start
everyone is
those
confirmed.
next
They all will be here.
Wednesday at
Wednesday,
3?
it starts at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock for special meeting to interview.
Yes.
I think it's pretty good.
And it's gonna be a closed session, and y'all have the opportunity to come out and possibly, potentially appoint.
I work with attorneys from 4 of those firms. At least 2 or 3 of the attorneys from 4 of those firms that she listed.
All right.
Any other discussion, or we move on?
So we're meeting with them next week?
Next
Yes.
Wednesday. Special meeting.
Wednesday, starting at 3.
So number 23, discuss, consider, and act upon approval of professional services agreement with Zach Finance. Zach Tax does a pretty good job. We were looking at potentially bringing them on a little while back when we were talking with the TML Wranglers. That didn't, we didn't get a chance to do that. But Hayden has worked with them. He's requested this. The reason we're bringing it to you tonight is because it's going to take them a little bit of time to kind of ramp up, see all of our documents, go through things to get prepared for Hayden. We're already behind the 8 ball on the scheduling, so there's a lot of things that have to move very quickly. So he asked if we might be interested in doing this before he got here, and I think it's a good idea to go ahead and do it if we're going to do it, to let him get started.
And I think we talked about this, I want to say
Y'all
we
did
all
the budget
talked
workshop.
about it. Yeah, the budget workshop, we talked about it to where it's takes some time.
It does.
But the cost of it is almost
A little bit,
half.
ended up, well, yes.
It's a
well,
little
it
bit
ended
more
up being
than
a little
Eddie.
bit more. It ended up being almost $15,000 more because
Yeah.
we did not realize, because what we was paying, the other ones, not Eddie's, we was going by the 54 mark, and then we dropped him down to 25 because we were not using it, but we weren't expecting this, so. But this company does beyond
Full service.
what
Yeah.
they
What
do
we've
everything.
been having.
Absolutely.
So efficiency and accuracy is going to be, should be improved.
And yes,
And
and
cheaper.
part of the investment, part of it, they have to have
But is it-
certifications that Eddie will not sign off on, they do.
Is it still cheaper than what we've been doing, but it's just more expensive than what we thought it was going to be?
Yes, it's gonna be 15,000 more.
It's about what we're
Yes,
paying
but it's
for.
still under what we've
Yes.
done in the
Yes.
past.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because their quote was 38.
Yeah.
But it's a service, it's not a person.
Correct.
Correct.
It's like your Word, Office, Excel. You got to pay for the licensing to
Yeah, I got
access
that,
it.
it's just, I mean,
You're not dependent on one person. If we can't call you back, you can talk to someone else
Yeah.
who knows our stuff.
Yes, and then we're guaranteed 2 days a week, and I didn't have that with Eddie. I had to text or email, it was really hard. Calling, leave a message that I need you like now.
Do a drive-by.
Left you
Well, and Eddie was struggling with some of the TERS and the kids, and they know the ins and outs, because I've already asked Pete all of this.
Yeah, they know how to work on it.
I mean, I'll make a motion to approve. I know we've been talking about it, and that's even something he talked about.
Second.
So,
Okay, Blake with the first, Bill with the second, all in favor?
I'm reluctantly in favor, but I still think we want to look at a real person someday.
I think that gives us time someday.
Yeah. Now, is it a real quick question? Is it like a yearly subscription or pay as you go month to month?
I think it's not 32.
No, they'll be
It'll
coming
be
back
contract.
with a contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know the term?
And I'm sure it's gonna be kind of like Edge, where there'll be 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people, depending on what, for instance, Eddie, they have one person that does the bank recs.
Mhm.
They have one person that handles something else. I assume this one is gonna be the same way. Hayden was just all for it, and so when I was reading through some of this, I was like, okay, this is a piece that's been missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of doing it,
Sure.
because it's not my responsibility on some of this.
Mhm.
It's outside of my wheelhouse, I'm just,
Yeah.
fell in my lap, and we're growing, and it's time to pass it on to someone else.
So I heard 4 yeas. William, are you a yea or nay?
I was a yay.
Okay, so 5-0.
But you are
Reluctantly.
in the future, you would like to have a real life person, and so would we.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, in-house. Discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance to establish the position of city manager and the duties of the city manager of the city of Gunter. So we need that.
So this ordinance has been presented before, and we've rejected it before, so I'm curious why it's back again.
We have to create and establish the position, and Courtney wrote the ordinance and
We
completed it.
don't have to. We have to set a salary and we have to set a bond. And I had proposed that, and it somehow didn't make it on.
So David, let me just ask you a question. We went to an election, the citizens approved it, but do we not have to actually establish it by ordinance according to chapter 25?
I just told you
25.
I'm asking legal.
Under chapter 25, the ordinance is required to set the salary and to set the bond.
That's right.
Correct. So we do have an ordinance for that, but Courtney didn't have it in time, so it will be on the, I believe it's on the special meeting, is it not? Next Wednesday? Is it on next Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's gonna happen. But do we not need a ordinance to create the position and assign the duties?
No, we do not.
We're just gonna let him do what he wants?
You know, but it's kind of helpful to have that, I mean, either ordinance or a contract, but the ordinance is gonna be on the books, and if you adopt the
Right.
ordinance, that's pretty much etched in stone, so not just for Hayden, but for future city managers, these are the regulations, and they do set the authorities and responsibilities of your city manager independent of the contract, so you probably ought to have an ordinance.
Smart.
Because we don't have a charter. If we had a charter, it would be something different, right?
So it's basically taking his job description and putting it into an ordinance, is that what?
Yeah, the ordinance is gonna be the controlling document, that's a set of regulations that establish the position, and that outline and detail the functions and responsibilities. The contract is just kind of beneath the ordinance.
Right.
And in theory, in accordance with the ordinance.
I know, but I'm just saying, if he has a job description, that's what he's supposed to be doing.
In his duties.
Yeah, that's his duties, that's his everything, so he wouldn't need an ordinance, it's, here you go, there's your job description, right? I'm just not trying to
So
be
well
devil's advocate
understanding,
here,
not
but
necessary, but
Yes.
absolutely recommended.
That's absolutely recommended. You can get away without it, but you gotta have it.
he's got a job description and he knows what it is, and we've showed it to him,
So,
but
just for him.
You can run into some gray areas.
Objections.
I think
well, I haven't
what
seen
David's
the,
trying to talk about is you could run into some gray areas. How do you guys want to address those?
well, wouldn't we run into gray areas as well in the ordinance, because it's basically just a set in stone
We're
job
talking about how
description?
we gotta have all of this information, we need all this information, and then we're not wanting to get any information on exactly what his duties are, so.
I don't even know what the ordinance, I haven't even seen any of it either, so I still need the information.
Well, we've seen it before.
There's a lot of things in it that are not.
Let's readdress this ordinance and see if there's any tweaks that we need to do, or what to do with it.
I completely
We
agree.
also know who the manager is
So no action, bring it
what his
back.
qualifications are.
Yeah, I make a motion for no action.
No action.
Yes.
If he has a job description, then there you
Okay,
go.
so number 25 is council business executive session under 551.074, under personnel for Chief of Police Danny Jones. I know we don't have to ask for a vote, but would you guys, can we move on to executive session?
Why are we going into executive
The
session?
personnel issue, and he does not want to bring it out.
Okay.
It's nothing new, it's something that's been pending, and I need to wrap it up because we are closing a mayor form of government, and it's not fair to push it to Hayden, so it's fairly
If we're gonna do this,
ministerial.
then I'll make a motion
but
to
it is
approve to go into executive
personnel.
session, thank you, and I'd like to continue that.
So we
Second.
have the opportunity
so-
to comment on
Thank
this
you.
prior to your coming out and taking a vote, or should we do that now?
There's probably not going to be a vote. There's nothing to vote on.
Would you like to make a public
So,
comment?
would you like
We
to?
don't know what we're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
We're
even know what
going
I'm going in there
under a
for.
personnel issue.
No, I know,
Yes.
yeah.
You're
I
going to
didn't need-
executive session knowing that
I
you're
mean-
not going to take a vote?
I don't have to, there's not always a vote.
I get that, but what's the point if you're going in?
It's to update council on a personnel level. So I can't do that out here. It's not that hard.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Okay, we're convening at 8:12.
She's so
right, so we'll reconvene to open session at 9:05. We do not have any action to take from executive session. We'll move on to number 26, and that's discuss, consider, and possibly take action. No action. 27. Discuss regarding citizen comments only at the beginning of the meeting and not on the agenda item.
I'd like to make a motion before we take up 27 to move 29 up in front because I want to make sure we get it so it doesn't get cut off at the end.
I'll second that.
Second that.
So we had several items and I don't really know how they disappeared because I thought we voted on them.
Yeah, I have a comment if you don't mind me, brothers. Item number 14 on the previous meeting on the 2nd of July 26 was tabled to a 16 July meeting. And it was actually voted by 4 aldermen to approve this. That was number 14 of the 02 July 26 meeting. And it was tabled to this meeting, and it did not make it on this meeting.
What was the topic?
I would have to double check, but I just wrote it down as agenda item number 14. It was not, and it was voted on by 4 aldermen, passed 4-0, and it's not on this agenda.
It may be coming on. We were at 36.
But it was tabled to the 16th. That's why I was asking, because it gave a specific date.
Yes, that was.
So do you know what it was? I have no idea.
Let's see, that was the 7th? Or no, the 2nd.
Second.
Let me pull it up on them.
Yes. Go to the top of my 1,000-page agenda.
What I postponed to the next one were things that needed legal that had not gone through legal.
14, hold on, 14 was discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance authorizing and establishing tiered signatures and counter signatures requirements for disbursements.
Yeah, and it was William Stevens made the motion to table the ordinance to 16 July 26, Lee Birchfield
Y'all were
second.
not still working?
The motion was
On
passed.
it, you said that y'all weren't finished.
But that was a week prior. I missed this meeting.
Yeah, this was when he was gone and we tabled it to talk about it this meeting.
And we were told that it wasn't ready.
I don't remember that.
That was a month ago, and it was ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get a ready version
Okay.
that passed legal.
Okay. That's legal. Got it. Yeah, I'll just
We have legal for a reason.
There's no requirement.
I'm gonna at least get the
Council
advice.
wants to take it up.
No, ma'am, I'm not
We
disputing
gave
that
it to
by all
legal,
means,
we
but
decided we want legal to look at it.
It was
It's not your choice, Karen.
the motion. My only concern is the motion passed 4-0, and it did not make it to this meeting. So that was my concern. Whether it made it through legal or not, it still could have made the agenda, and then you could have commented, "Hey, it's on the agenda, but it's still pending legal
We'll bring
review."
it back on the next
Because that would have been more informal for me. That's my concern. Is that
Okay.
4 aldermen said yes to put this on this meeting. So
Yes,
It's
and it did.
extraordinarily concerning
Okay.
because it's a state statute. And
So add that back, Vita. It's not a state statute. The
It is a
statute
state
says that
statute.
3 can call a meeting. It does not refer to
So
the
we
agenda,
have to
so
start
it's
calling our
implied.
meetings So we can run it.
It's
we can do
implied.
what we have.
Okay.
So put it on the agenda next
Okay.
time.
So
Deidre,
first thing.
And we'll put legal in with it and have legal feedback. You don't just put ordinances in place without your city attorney at least giving some advice. You're welcome to ignore the advice, but at least you gotta get
When
it.
we get a
That
city
wasn't
attorney we
the-
like, we'll take their advice.
That wasn't the concern. It was that we motioned last meeting for it to be on this
yeah,
week's meeting.
that's all I'm disputing.
That's
Ma'am, is
all.
that it could have been still waiting on legal, but at least it made it to the meeting.
Yeah,
Thank you,
but
Mr.
it's
We'll put
on
it
here
the
instead of
next one,
getting
for sure.
shelved or something.
All right, so
Okay, so that's Patrick. Anything else from you on that, Patrick?
That was the only one that I knew of.
Okay. Anything from you?
yeah, I have a list.
Yeah, I know you have a list. So do I.
So
No, I'll let you go. You might answer some of mine.
okay. First thing is I want an ordinance for letting aldermen put agenda items on the agenda. I wanted a city ordinance that is not the mayor's control. Second thing.
For council to put stuff on the
Yes.
agenda?
Yes, any alderman should be able to put something on the agenda, and don't want the mayor taking it off, because voting on it doesn't seem to get us there. So we need an ordinance to put in place to protect the alderman to be able to bring up, because aldermen are elected.
Yes.
And we have a right and a responsibility to bring up items that our constituents want, and it's not the mayor's protocol to veto everything we bring up.
I know, and we,
And when we
right,
vote on something, it's a council decision. She doesn't get to override it.
okay, and right now we have it to where if we send, what, two aldermen or 3 aldermen send you an email to have something put on the next agenda, it gets put on there.
Well, but it doesn't.
Only two.
No. Huh?
Only two.
Only two.
Right.
Okay.
It's three
So-
forms, so.
Okay, so two, it gets put on the agenda, so that means what you're trying to say is you want an ordinance, because there's already that step in place that if two aldermen get it on there,
Yeah.
it stays on there and it doesn't get pulled
Because
off.
being polite and just asking for it doesn't get it there.
Okay,
So we need an ordinance.
okay. I agree.
Next one, the spending limits, the one we already voted on, put it back on.
Okay.
The executive session vote that was already on and somehow got back off, put it back on. The adjournment requirement did not end a meeting without a vote from the council, somehow got off the agenda again. The city manager's salary and bond,
It's on the next one.
well, it was supposed to be on this one.
What's on the
Somebody
next
took it
one?
off. Travis Noel had given a compelling speech and had asked for a criminal investigation, and that was supposed to be on this night's agenda. It somehow didn't make it.
That's one of mine, so I'll take that one off mine.
I
So
had a
hold on,
request.
I'm gonna say something real quick right now.
Of course.
In front of everyone. First of all, Travis's sworn statement, submitting that to the city, what do you do with that, David? What would we do with that? This is a citizen who's complaining about something, sworn statement that he wants me arrested. What do you do
Investigate.
with that?
He wants investigation, and he gave the documents that was needed to start the investigation.
Is that something the council
Law
does?
enforcement issue.
Exactly.
It's not a law enforcement agency.
Exactly,
He
and that's why I'm
did, so
saying.
he did hand it to our law enforcement, but he wanted to bring it to us, and he brought the right documents that would start an investigation.
I understand. He's simply informing you of that. And that's, it can't be
There's no action.
as any other way, because you don't have the responsibility or the lawful authority to initiate any kind of criminal action.
We can still take it
So-
off. We can still have a resolution. It can still be on the agenda.
For what?
For a resolution.
A resolution for what? To
Declare
tell him to
start-
investigate?
violated the law.
To start the
To tell him to
investigation.
investigate? He can investigate on his own.
If
Where's
there were
Chief Jones?
allegations
Maybe we
of-
want to censure you.
Yeah, censure, you're
Jones,
familiar with the censure.
I'm going, we don't have a policy to censure anymore. You guys removed it. Yeah, you
No,
do.
you don't.
Okay, so basically,
You do.
if a citizen comes in here with documents and wanting to do stuff and hands it to
The
you,
citizen needs to go to the chief of police.
and he has,
And
okay,
I'm going to tell you in an open meeting, sir, if there's probable cause, would you please investigate it?
Well, there's
Well,
plenty of problems.
If there is probable cause of any of the claims in that
Okay.
statement, I am directing you
You can't
to
direct him.
investigate.
Oh, yeah.
You can't
Okay.
direct him.
because I was told a
I
little
can't.
different, that
You can't.
when the citizen handed it to you, since we were not advised to move forward with that or put that into action, it was just gonna be shelved.
But, you know,
So-
I don't know, I mean, depending on what it is, but obviously, if there are allegations of criminal misconduct,
Mhm.
the city council is not a law enforcement agency.
Mhm.
You can't walk out of the courthouse, fill out an application for a warrant, and have somebody arrested. I mean, you understand the difference.
Yes,
So
I'm not
if-
trying
if
to arrest,
criminal
it's investigate.
misconduct allegations are best filed, if not within the PD that operates under the discretion or the authority of the city, you go to other law enforcement agencies seeking independent investigations, depending on the nature of it.
Mhm.
Go to the AG's office, go to the DA's office, you can go
Yeah.
to
The Rangers,
department,
yes, Ranger,
all
Sheriff,
sorts of
yes.
different Texas Rangers, depending on what the nature of the accusations are. But simply filing a criminal complaint with the city council.
Well, then if we do we still have that, Deetra, that
Yes,
Mr.
I was
Noel
instructed.
Don't worry,
gave it
he
to
has
us?
everything he needs.
I know.
I was instructed at the last meeting to add it as an exhibit to the back of the minutes.
To the back of the minutes as an exhibit, which means it was just gonna sit there. And the council wouldn't have it.
Read it until then.
Well, it's in the, it's
One-
on the same drive.
Wouldn't have, the council wouldn't have anything to say, hey, we wanna, take a vote to move on forth on this or anything that we,
We don't have
Nothing.
anything that we can do without.
Well, regardless of what
investigation
we
being
can
done.
and can't do, we gotta
What are you gonna
discuss
do?
it, and it got taken out.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
If it's a
so,
criminal accusation, you direct the complainant to
to the law
an
enforcement.
appropriate law enforcement
Okay.
agency, yeah.
They do their investigation, and then we have
This
something.
thing is in my way of your face. Okay.
Okay, then there was the agenda item that I had asked for an investigation into the ambulance purchases and how it all came about. That also got taken off the agenda.
Because you know how it came about.
Don't know.
You
how
have
it came
all
about.
of the
All I know
information.
is you went and did stuff you weren't allowed to do.
You
Is
have
that
all
not
of the
part your
information.
stuff?
Then you shouldn't worry about an investigation.
I'm not, I'm directing the chief to do that.
Then put it
According to
on the agenda.
22042, a general law mayor serves as the chief executive
There
officer,
you go.
Texas Local Government Code Section 22042, and is actively responsible for ensuring that the municipal laws and
So you
ordinances are
wanted
faithfully
the
executed and
investigation to be
enforced.
put
I'm
on
directing
to
our chief of police to do that.
You
If
wanted
he
the
sees
investigation of
probable
the
cause,
EMS
refer it.
on the
Investigate it.
I want to,
Okay.
it's
It's not that hard.
Hiring somebody to investigate it for a forensic investigation.
Because that's gonna cost us
to
money.
really find out, yes,
Yeah.
because it's going to cost us money.
So we need to go through the proper
It's
steps.
not that we haven't spent money on
Okay.
investigations
The Texas
before.
Rangers isn't enough if he investigates and
Would you
drops it
stop
in their lap?
interrupting me so I can finish my list?
Who is it that you want to pay to do?
Karen, that doesn't matter right now. We are
It doesn't
talking,
matter.
right now it seems like you're obstructing us talking about agenda number 29.
Yes.
And I don't appreciate
The
that.
I'm
last
not.
thing is,
Okay.
I'm asking a question.
I want to put on the, I want to
That's
put
not
on
a
the
question,
agenda-
that was a mistake.
William, can you please move forward?
Yes, thank you. I want to establish a commission for the police. I've already written a proposal, which I will deliver to the council for what the police commission might look like. It would help with professional standards. It would also help as a buffer between the politics and the police force. I think it'd be a big benefit to the police department and a way to make sure that it's not misused by people and they want to use it for their own political purposes.
Okay, so commission for the police. Okay. That's what you would like on next meeting's agenda. All of those
Next
items.
one, not the next one later, not when somebody else decides or something else, next one.
Next one that comes up, and then Patrick wanted the number 14 from last meeting on July 2nd to be put on the next August.
Yeah, discuss, consider, and act upon
Discuss,
ordinance
okay.
authorizing
Yep.
the establishment of tiered signatures and counter signature requirements to disbursements.
Okay. Well, William already hit one of mine, so that's fine. I don't need to repeat it. I would like to put on actually all of the once a month agendas of updates from MDD. If we do a Parks and Rec, have them either speak through Eric and Adam. Have that be put into their parks,
You want to do
streets.
monthly or quarterly?
I mean, once a month, something, because right now I unfortunately do not have the time to go to the meetings, so I don't know what P&Z is doing, but whatever they do will come to us.
Just
MDD.
just a board update.
Yeah, just hey, nothing really took place in MDD. They're still working on the
Just taking
sign.
Just one paper.
Yeah,
Here's
I mean,
what's
it could
going on.
be.
What the police and fire give us?
Yeah, it could be one sentence like the MDD's still working on the sign, the Welcome to Gunter
Put it
sign.
in the consent agenda.
Yeah, there you go. As an update, I would love to have that.
Adam, I'm not gonna accept nothing, just NUTTF.
Yeah. So that's all I've got for right now. So
Well, one more thing.
okay.
We were supposed to have a vote. Did we vote on surplusing but I remember I wrote, that was supposed to be on the agenda also, surplusing the ambulance.
It was pulled because you can't
Somehow
do
it
it.
got off also, so
It was
surplusing the
pulled because
ambulance.
you can't surplus it yet. So
We can't.
we're,
Who says
legal,
you can't surplus
legal
it?
is researching whether it's void or voidable depending on procurement. So as soon as we know and we get an
Because you
answer,
bought it without
Okay.
authorization?
you cannot sell something that does not belong to you. So if it's void,
We own it.
it's not
We
ours.
shouldn't.
So
I'm not gonna
then,
explain
can we
this to
put
you,
that? Can we put that
but
on
it's
the
coming
agenda
back.
so then it
Yes.
keeps up and it's
Yes.
in there so the public knows that we're still deliberating
Yes,
on
it's
our
coming back
side
with a legal
what the
opinion.
EMS situation is.
Hey,
Perfect example of
Hey,
not
Pro
being
Tem.
able to pass an ordinance that
What?
is irrelevant or illegal.
Move forward.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
My chicken nuggets are getting cold, y'all.
That's fantastic. I'm just saying. So, okay, cool. Are we done with 29? And I would say this
Are
if I
we
wasn't
clear?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, I want to vote from all the councilmen that we're going to put these things on the agenda because I don't want the mayor taking it back off again. I want it on the agenda, I want it next meeting, and I'll make a motion for all of these. Please, someone second.
It's on the next meeting, correct, DK?
No, I don't trust you, Karen. You promised.
You don't have to trust me.
And I don't.
Do you trust me, Peter? Thank you.
Good.
Put it on the agenda.
Yay.
Yay.
I didn't hear who seconded
Aye.
it, I'm sorry.
Bill,
Bill
Bill seconded. I yay. Patrick yay.
item on board or not?
As long as legal's through with it, I'm good with it. If
So
it's an item that legal wants, that legal needs to be involved, then I'm good with it.
It's not a question about whether.
Well, then it can just
legal
be
involved or not,
discussed.
it's
What
whether
I'm
we
saying
think
is, I don't have a problem with discussing any of those items. It's the act. As long as legal's good with it,
Well,
act on it. We can open it up for discussion, we can do all
So,
of
yes.
those things, so let's.
Discuss
Because
it.
it'd be nice to have a lot more conversation.
We
about a
don't
lot of
take it
this
off
stuff.
the agenda just
Exactly.
because
Without opinion
We
action.
did because legal said we can't do it, and we'll get an opinion on that.
So we can talk about that. Legal can discuss
You are not the city attorney, you
Okay.
cannot submit ordinances that don't go through legal.
We're gonna get a new legal firm in here.
Okay.
So we can talk to them, but it just needs to be on the agenda, so we can.
I can propose any
Let's
ordinance I
discuss
want
it.
to propose.
Let's discuss it, but make sure we got a blessing to act on it.
Get
So I'm
Yes, so we're putting, having it
It's
on
not
the
her fault to
agenda.
take it off the agenda.
Not anymore, because it's,
William.
we got it.
What I'm saying is, I don't have a problem with discussing it. Let's make sure that we have legal's blessing for us to act on.
Act on, yes.
Once we
We
get,
can
once
discuss
we get a
it.
lawyer we trust as well.
Yes, got it. Okay. So now.
There's a big,
One that doesn't go on vacation.
Got
there's a
it.
big nonstop.
All right, so, what do we got come back, right? Because we skipped.
She did.
Oh, no, we skipped
Are you finished?
27 or
We're back on
28.
27.
27.
Citizen comments only at the beginning of the meeting, not on each
I think
action
you
item.
squashed that one.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
against the
propose
law.
It has to be the
Yeah, I don't-
opposite.
What's that?
She wants to not have, say it again, Karen.
That's not her agenda.
That's
it's
not
not
my
her.
agenda
That's
item.
his agenda item.
Someone else.
That's
Williams'
y'all's
agenda
agenda.
items.
It has to be the
Oh, you have to
So now-
You cannot eliminate
Williams'
someone's
agenda
ability
item.
to speak on an agenda item.
No, but I think you
Period.
can, I think you can collect it all in one place.
City of Frisco just did it.
That's
No.
What I was trying to avoid was having 30 agenda items and someone speak on every single one of them. 3 minutes for 30 agenda items, you just add an hour and a half to the meeting.
And that's why number 28.
Statute.
Pretty much
Then
changed.
that's-
Statute.
That's what happens. No, and then that would be
But
what
you-
happens.
If I recall, one session.
Excuse me, can we please have order, and can we please move forward?
I'll go ahead and interrupt for just a minute. You've got a gavel right there. It
Yeah.
is grossly
She knows.
inappropriate for people in the audience.
I've done this
Council
before and it makes it worse.
To be involved.
Yes.
I think it's also been inappropriate for everyone at the council diet.
To be talking
To be
over.
talking.
Should have been here 3 years ago.
I
Yeah.
will make,
Okay.
Okay,
There
I
you
will
go.
tell you, you have the authority as the mayor, and council members can call a point of order if members of the audience are being unruly. The standard process is, number one, you admonish them and warn them that their conduct is disruptive. If it occurs again, you give them a second admonishment and caution them that if it occurs again, that they will be ejected from the meeting.
right.
If it occurs a third time, you've got law enforcement present. The disruption of a public meeting that's in progress is a criminal offense.
It
And
is.
they can not just be ejected, but arrested.
That's
Now,
right.
that's for the audience. For the council, I can't believe that y'all can't have the respect for each other to allowing each of you to finish your statements and then move on. Now, in connection with the question, the item that we are on right now is discussion regarding citizens' comments. It is very clear to me that a great deal of people in this room are completely misunderstanding what the law is. Citizens' comment is now required before or during consideration of any item that the council may act on or may even consider. That doesn't mean at the beginning of every single agenda item, because Councilman Stevens is absolutely correct. You will be here all night long. If you allow people 3 minutes, you allow them to exchange or barter their 3 minutes with other people. Right now it is 9:30. You've been here for what, 3.5 hours? I'm not quite sure we've really accomplished a whole lot, but I'm going to tell you this.
Welcome to our meetings.
Most cities do not allow citizens' comments before every single agenda item. It's done at the very beginning of the agenda.
Thank you.
They get their 3 minutes, each speaker gets their 3 minutes, period, and then they sit down. They don't get to catcall from the peanut gallery. They don't get to participate in further deliberations. You should not be asking them questions when they're at the podium, using their 3 minutes, or engaging in any type of deliberation or discourse. As far as this council is concerned, let's get to business. Keep it straight without complaining, without backbiting, without arguing or fighting. Just get to the business. say your piece, and then sit down. We're almost done.
Yep. Okay, so
This is
we're
only
on,
your first time here.
we're on 27.
But I thank you for.
And we'll laugh, so I can say this, I'm not worried.
So, we don't have an action on this, so we need to put it on the agenda next meeting, because there's no act in this.
Correct, it was discussed.
Okay.
But that's what I would like to do, is move all the citizens' comments to the beginning of the meeting, so we eliminate the constant repetitive 25 times that somebody gets up and talks. And I'm also considering, I think we should talk about, I don't know that we should do it, but we should talk about this sharing time and giving your time to somebody else. If you want to talk, get up and talk, but don't give your time away to somebody else. Because it's too easy to, what do you do? What if 5 people show up, say they're going to give their time away? What if 20 people show up, say they're going to give their time away? Then we're going to sit there for an hour?
Yeah, but there are situations where people can't make it and they,
Sure, but
well, they speak on their behalf,
they can ask for a waiver at the time, and the council can vote on it at the moment. But in general, if we're gonna have a 3-minute limit, we should have a 3-minute limit, we should hear what people have to say, and we should move on. One time.
so succeeding their time to someone else,
Yeah.
you're not.
What do you think about it? Every married couple is gonna automatically get 6 minutes, just because they're married. Right? Just bring your wife and you get 6 minutes, instead of the next guy who's single and only gets 3. I mean, how is that appropriate? I mean, if you want to talk, talk. But don't be giving your time away and bringing somebody up.
I personally believe that everybody who wants to speak should be able to speak. So, I mean, I'm torn between two since we're discussing this.
Yeah.
I personally believe that if you would like to speak and there's exigent circumstances and your friend shows up to save your spot and you show up on time, then by all means you should be able to speak. I think that with what we have coming in the future and the city's getting larger, you got traffic issues. I mean, I personally believe that if anybody who would like to speak, I want to hear from you.
Well, absolutely.
So what I'm saying is that when you start saying like, well, married couples get 6 minutes, well then I agree, 3 minutes, and you give it to them, then I just like to. There's certain situations where that it could be viewed as suppressing. I don't agree with that.
Well, I mean, it's 3 minutes or it's 4 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever.
No, what I'm saying is times 2 is 6 minutes. Yes, you like your friend, and now we're here for an hour and a half. It's kind of like
right.
I see your point in that aspect, but I also want to hear the concerns of the citizens, and maybe somebody does have a 6-minute speech that they would like to give us.
15 minutes.
But, I want to hear all 15 minutes of that individual's concerns because it's their city.
Right.
And it could be viewed on one side or the other, but it's still their city.
Okay, but that means you're not going to have a 3-minute limit.
No, what I'm saying is that but what you're saying is that
succeed their time, like they succeed their time.
We've had that during Travis when he came up. His wife came here and reserved his time, and then he got up and spoke. Yes, that's why I don't disagree with being able to give your time to somebody else. That's true.
Yeah. How much time can you give away?
I know, but then once we start putting
I think that's something that maybe we should discuss down the road. Is that not to exceed. You could have 3 minutes, not to exceed a certain time.
When a family of 6 show up and they all succeed their time to the father, and now he's got, all that time. I get that, but
you
let's
use the process.
Let's cross that road when everyone does that, and everyone brings their family in. But at least put on the agenda for the discussion of regarding citizen comments only at the beginning.
Yeah. No, I agree on both sides. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes, I agree that a person there should be a cap. Yes, but I also don't want to suppress somebody if I got 9 minutes and I need all 9 minutes to get through this.
I'm a slow reader.
Sure.
So I might need it.
I think Brandy got 9 minutes earlier. And I think she made pretty good use of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's
there you go.
Near.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Any feedback? What do you think?
Well, I'm all about hearing everybody's voice. I want that. I think that's imperative to hear the voice. Now, whether I have to agree with them or not, or ever what, we can just agree to disagree. But I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
But I think there does need to be some limitations. There needs to be some consistency about that limitation. And everybody have an acknowledgement of that before they come in.
Right.
And then that way you don't get out of bounds. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent out of bounds conversations. And, nobody wants to be scolded like a 30-year-old. Nobody wants that in their life. That's very disruptive, and it's concerning. And I want to say that each one of these individuals here is and I'm just guessing out loud, but I know I am very approachable on a one-on-one situation where somebody meets me or says, "Hey, let's go have some coffee. Can I talk to you about something that's disturbing me?" I want to have that input and that understanding of where my citizens feel like they need to be. So I'm not disgruntled about people talking. That if I am, I need to do something else. I need to go somewhere else. But I think that we need to take a hard look at what's going to be a consistent thing for us. I really do.
I think maybe everyone work on what your parameters really think about it, what you think we should do, time limits.
It's a matter of just adding one more item to that sign-up sheet, and whether or not you plan on yielding your time to circle yield. That way we know kind of an idea of what kind of time we're looking at when you get 28 people and you see nothing but yields. It's kind of like, okay, this is the reason why we're putting 15-minute time limit on one subject.
Or how many yields you can do.
Well, if we're gonna let people yield time, we should probably make it a little less convenient.
I did
I'll
see
tell you,
It'll turn into a Senate filibuster where you don't actually have to filibuster. All you gotta do is say you're filibustering and you don't have to do anything.
But council, there were some citizens in the audience that would like to make a comment if we would like to hear it.
I would love to hear from citizens if we have time.
You guys agree?
Well, we only have one more agenda item.
Well, just saying we had some citizens that wanted to make a comment on that.
We're only down to one agenda item.
Yeah.
One more.
It'd be, is it this item, Mr. Self?
Yes, sir.
So it'd be a discussion item number 27.
27.
Okay. Dave Self, 116 Broken Bow. I think the spirit of what you're talking about is making, if you're gonna come up here and speak for 3 minutes, that it be like specific to an agenda item, not coming up here and giving time to bash a council member or to, talk trash to somebody or berate somebody. It needs to be specific to an agenda item. Frisco just passed that, so it's not breaking any laws. People can't just come up here and I've sat up there. Fortunately, no one came up here and just trashed me, but I've seen enough of it since I've not been here, and it's been allowed, which is pretty pathetic, and it needs to stop. And, it needs to be it doesn't need to be opinions of, here's what I think about the law. It needs to be about an agenda item, specific to the agenda. Outside of that, put it on Facebook, or go talk to somebody individually.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
In fact, Alan and I came back from TML Houston and said that very thing. And we
Yeah,
tried
the
to do
toughest-
that, and we did do that for a little while.
The toughest part is that you had a citizen in the Meadows come to the podium and ask us to look into speed limits in her area.
Mhm.
She wouldn't be able to ask that if it's not right here on the
Yeah.
paper, based on that.
And I
So-
remember we used to not have citizen comments, and I
Yes.
wanted it back on because I want to hear, and I agree with what you're saying. I want to hear complaints, but not chastising.
So unfortunately, Hayden
To anyone.
being a full-time employee here now as a city manager, everyone reach out to him. Let's get
He
the
can
subject
filter
through
that.
him so that we can get it here, so that we can actually discuss it.
And if they still want to
A
come
change
up,
of
My
command.
thought on
then
the
they
whole
can.
thing is very simplistic. If you bring a problem, bring us a solution as well. Let us talk about how we can help you through the process. And
you want to speak?
So
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Connie Eubanks, 105 Beavers Bend. Everything that y'all just discussed is nowhere on this agenda. Nothing that you just discussed is item 27. That is the problem, that these council meetings go forever because there is constant yammering about stuff that is not on the agenda, that you're discussing putting items on the agenda and you're going ahead and discussing it prior to the next agenda. Karen can't keep anybody on task because she chooses not to keep anyone on task.
True.
So everything you've just discussed, none of it should have been discussed.
Thank you.
Mark Merrill, 71 Mallard Court. My only concern is if you have an agenda of 29 items, and you actually want to address 5 of them in 3 minutes, you're looking at what, 25 seconds per topic? 35, 40? Even if it's 40, is that really enough time to discuss ambulance service or fire suppression or a policy of decorum and what's expected of council and what's expected of the city population? I understand that you want to have the meetings to be quicker. I understand you want us to stay on topic. But I think limiting citizen comments on agenda items, especially at the time when you're discussing them or you're about to discuss them, could be a real problem in a small growing community that's not home rule where we don't have all that stuff established yet. I just ask you to really think through the policy before taking an action. Thank you.
Did we do 28?
No, we haven't done 28 yet.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
You guys ready? Let's do it.
Okay, so number 28, discussion regarding the number of city council meetings per month.
This is an easy one. One. I'd love to go back to one meeting. So then, there we go. If we want to do not a agenda meeting, but like a workshop, and then cancel if we don't have anything to discuss and talk about it, then okay. I'm more concerned of if I have to miss one meeting and it's a regular agenda item meeting and it's that whole month, well, there's 2 meetings that I miss right there.
I hear where you're coming from, but I would like to move forward with utilizing the first meeting of the month to actually discuss items, put it out there. So if you miss a meeting, it's really not missing very much of anything. You're not voting on anything. We're just discussing everything, and that gives the city population as well as us time to research, look at things, so that when we come back on the second meeting, we actually can take action and have the time to actually absorb the information and do that critical thinking to, create a formulation to disagree with it, and then everybody has it out there. That's my 2 cents.
Yes, and that's what we originally started this for. The 2 meetings was to talk about what was going to be discussed, considered, and take action on the second meeting. The first one was to go over it, So
is it safer to just go to one meeting a month and call a workshop?
Well,
because it doesn't matter if you don't have a quorum on a workshop. I mean, you're not taking action, right?
Because right now it sets up July 2nd, we have a regular meeting, July 16th, a regular meeting. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. If I missed both of those, then that's 2 meetings I missed.
Well, the catalyst would be as long as we can maintain one meeting to require action.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%.
That's the catalyst. Because that was the original idea, that we would use the first meeting for prep and the second meeting for action, and then it started getting used for action, and it started getting lengthy, and we started getting the pre-made everything set down for us to vote on. So
we also
that's safer to do.
We also have the opportunity to, if the time comes, should we switch to a meeting, right? To once the city staff would be, hey, we got a lot coming up. We need to
change it from a workshop to a
schedule a special meeting.
So we call a special meeting, go to once a month for a regular, call special meetings when we need them, or when we have something that's particularly lengthy.
A workshop.
We don't want to overlook the fact that if we need a discussion meeting at the beginning of the month, that there might be something that we actually have to decide on.
Exactly, discussions, we can talk about
That's
it, and then have 2 weeks to digest it, instead of
we were doing that by coming in at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
to
before the meeting, but then it
discuss
happened
everything,
twice.
go through, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, at a 5 o'clock meeting, when you got a 6 o'clock right behind it, you don't have time to go research it. You don't
Right.
have time to go call experts. You don't have time to go investigate and read.
Just hear me
It's
out.
done 2 weeks in advance, then you've got time to look at it.
Right, hear me out on this. We had
Absorb it.
29 items on here. Now we're gonna go through 29 items twice a month.
Well, we could call it.
Maybe. Some of them were discussed.
I know.
So we would have gotten rid of
What I'm
them.
saying is that we have 29 items on this one, and now we're talking about, let's do the 29 items twice a month. Let's discuss them, and then we'll act on them the second time. That means that you guys are opening yourselves up to having 50 items.
Well, that's where the city staff would be able to, with our involvement, to be able to, hey, we got
I just
75
wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
We have a special
We all-
meeting.
Yeah.
I'll understand.
We have a meeting every week.
But if you miss a workshop meeting on the 1st, it's not a regular meeting, and then if, you can't make the second meeting of the month, that's a regular meeting.
Right.
You didn't miss two meetings in a row.
Yeah, it's-
Because if we miss 3 meetings in a row, we forfeited our seat, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's 3 regular meetings.
It's easier for us to cancel an extra meeting than it is to
What?
establish.
Okay, no, that's not really the answer to any question that I just asked. If I miss 3 regular scheduled meetings in a row, do I forfeit my seat as city council member?
Be a really clear answer, no.
Okay.
Like I
That's the
said,
second question. How many meetings in a row can I miss before I then forfeit my seat? I know you want to get out of here. I get it.
No, I know. The removal of a council member in a type of general law municipality occurs in one of 2 primary ways. The one that you're referring to is by misconduct. That requires a lawsuit with a sworn petition filed in district court after a jury trial and a court order that removes you from office.
Okay.
The other way is you get arrested for a criminal offense or you move out of town.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Repetitive absences might be something that the council could call you up for on charges of misconduct, but a lawsuit in district court is required.
Okay.
If you
So
were
if I
a
miss
home rule
4.
city, you would have
Different rules, possibly.
the usual standard process is 3 consecutive absences is an automatic vacancy in your office. Not a home rule city.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know either, but oh well. Okay.
And also remember, we've got a little while. Y'all aren't gonna be
I
able
know,
to make
yeah.
this change anytime soon.
No, it'd be
It-
September, like you said.
It
Why
could be
Well, like I
the
said,
last
it's-
meeting of
But
September
we still
into the
keep
first
the
meeting of
meeting.
October.
It's easier for us to
Yeah.
cancel a meeting than it is to get.
I understand.
Establish a meeting. William said, we can, as 3 council members, we can go ahead and schedule our own meeting. The problem
The 4 have to
is,
be
we
there.
can't do anything without the 4th person.
Right.
Exactly.
So
You just need to. You can discuss.
I don't have a problem with it being twice a month, and if we need to cancel one, great.
Yeah. A workshop, first one, and regular.
We
We
can
can stipulate that the first meeting is a no action meeting.
Yeah.
Then, like I said, you can really start lengthening these meetings by discussing everything
Well, at
twice.
least then you have the
We just have it
Unless
down
it's
on-
really not
Hey,
something.
So like tonight, we had
Something
8
needs to be
items
put
on
on
here
there.
that were unusual and aren't gonna be repeated.
Yes.
So then when I have them again, hopefully, I think we're done with them. So,
And those 8 items we wouldn't have to go over in the discussion
in
meeting.
that huge book that Deidre's turning over there, because of those.
So
Okay.
let's bring Hayden into most of this conversation
Yeah,
that we're having.
That's more than fine.
Yeah, and let's go home.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
Are you
what
ready? Are we
28
done?
was.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn at 9:43.